every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook, the Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Maryland has hired Texas A&M's Buzz Williams as its new men's basketball coach. The tush-push debate will go on a little longer. The proposal to ban the play, which has been enormously successful for the Eagles, tabled by NFL owners until a later date. Although there's no injury data to support a ban, some owners have warned their colleagues a serious injury just a matter of time. ESPN NFL analyst and former NFL quarterback Tim Hasselbeck.
They've never been ahead of the injury stuff. The reason kickoff took so long to adjust is they had information, they knew it was more dangerous, and then it was changed. And so they were never going to get out in front of the data on it. That should not happen here with this play. What I'm hearing a lot of people say is it's not a good-looking play. Well, neither is the kneel down. We're not removing that from the game either.
Tim Hasselbeck. The NFL will use a camera system to measure first downs in 2025. NBA suspended Detroit's Isaiah Stewart 2 games, Marcus Sasser, Ron Holland II 1 game each, and Minnesota's Dante DiVincenzo and Naz Reid each a game as a result of Sunday night's fight between the teams.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Wednesday, Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, and Jackson Dart could potentially go in the first round. So what exactly are their ceilings? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right! Woo!
Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Used to. And Mr. Toby Topley. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Shea Dixon here in about 15 minutes. We'll talk to Jake Madison next hour as Zion, shocker, shut down for the remainder of the season. Shedeur to the Saints. Will Helmers in hour 3. Ton to do. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
NFL owners meetings going on down in Palm Beach. That's where we find Ross Jackson of LouisianaSports.net. Hopped on the flight, went down to Florida, and good enough to be with us now. How are you, man?
Hey, buddy, doing great. But not a lot to complain about here in Palm Beach, Florida.
I'd imagine. Maybe you understand why people make that a permanent residence, yeah?
Yeah, I get it.
Sure. It charts. It plays. Okay, so you're getting to know Kellen Moore a little bit. He met with reporters for about 45 minutes today? Is that about right?
Yeah, just about. It's a little bit over 30.
Okay. Biggest takeaway from meeting with the Saints coach today?
Well, one of the big things, kind of newsworthy, is that the Saints will have training camp back in Metairie this year. That was a big point of contention for a lot of fans that are kind of in the area. Didn't get an opportunity to see the team last year as they were undergoing renovations over at their facility. And then, of course, they weren't able to open up practices out on the West Coast. That doesn't sound like that's going to be, hopefully, not an issue going into 2025 here, as the Saints will be back home in Metairie for training camp. And then, of course, continued working on the quarterback position as well when it comes to, Derek Carr as a starter. But the team being really clear, or Kellen Moore at least being really clear, that they want to have their backup quarterback dedicated and ready before the season starts is a big change from what they did last year.
Of course. So you had Jake Haener and Spencer Rattler battling it out last year and then through the season as well. So, Ross, dig a little deeper there. What does that mean for those two guys and maybe in particular who they might bring in as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it makes training camp as well as OTAs, preseason very important for them. But then also, more importantly, once that quarterback is declared, whoever that is, they'll be prepared throughout the season like a backup quarterback. Instead of those snaps for the non-starter, which are already very limited, being split across two quarterbacks like Dennis Allen's approach last year with the team with Spencer Rattler and Jake Haener, there would be a focus on making sure that that backup quarterback gets those reps, the wealth of those reps that are, non-starter reps, and that player is therefore and thereby ready, and that there's no question when it comes to the potential of who you turn to if there's an injury at the starter or to the starter or anything like that. I think it's just going to make things and kind of play a little bit better for the odds of that backup quarterback finding success should they be called into action.
Do you think they're in line to draft a quarterback in this month's draft?
They continue to be very active with quarterbacks, and I wouldn't rule out the possibility of it. Look, Hellmers said that they are continuing to do their homework. He also mentioned that every NFL team does their homework at that position. Obviously, it's the most important position in football. Some say it's most important in sports. I wouldn't rule it out. It doesn't have to be at 9. It could be a third-round quarterback or a fourth-round quarterback. I think they have 2 picks in each of those rounds and therefore have a lot of flexibility there. They have a top 30 visit coming, according to John Hendricks over at Athlon, when it comes to Quinn Ewers, the Texas Longhorns quarterback, and they've been connected to him quite a bit. They were connected to him with this. They're connected to him during the Combine, and they were also connected to him by having dinner with him the Monday before his Tuesday pro day over in Austin. So a lot of attention going to him. Kellen Moore was personally present at Ole Miss for their pro day to see Jackson Dart. Scott Tolzien did a private workout with Kyle McCord of the Syracuse Orange. I mean, there's a lot of those opportunities that they've taken here to look at the quarterback position, and an investment there wouldn't be surprising at this point.
And Ross Jackson's our guest. He's down in Florida at the NFL owners meetings. Let me throw a hypothetical, because coaches love answering hypotheticals. You're not a coach, so you can answer it. Let's say they draft a quarterback. So you got Carr under contract, you draft a quarterback, and then you got the other two, Haener, Rattler. You're not keeping all 4, so what do you do?
Yeah, and I think, and keep in mind, too, they also have stuff, Ben DiNucci on the roster as well. So actually, they have 5 going into mini camps and things like that. I mean, I think the writing is already on the wall for Ben DiNucci, but certainly we'll see. Veteran quarterback, yes, but obviously they've put a lot of investment into these young guys. And then I think outside of that, you start to look and see if either one of those other 2 younger quarterbacks, Spencer Rattler or Jake Haener, can potentially bring you something in the trade market. And if you get an opportunity to move one of them to a different team and return yourself some value, I think you absolutely do that. I think you wait, though, as long as you can, which maybe doesn't go all the way in the training camp, but certainly through like rookie mini camps and mandatory mini camps, OTAs, no rush around all that. But probably before training camp, maybe look to make a move with one of those young guys.
Ross Jackson, of course, LouisianaSports.net, Locked On Saints podcast. Aside from camp and the quarterback situation, any other high points from Kellen Moore today?
Yeah, I think I had a great I took something really great away from him when he was talking about positional value. This year's draft, there's a lot of players that are considered potential first rounders that are what we would call non-premium positions, those positions that don't touch the football a ton. Linebacker, tight end. I mean, running back touches the ball a lot, but I think that injury history and risk have kind of knocked that down from being a premier position or considered a premium position. And so they kind of get looked at as these spots that are not first round worthy. And I kind of like the way that Kellen Moore looked at it. He cares more about the overall impact that a player can have as opposed to the position where he's going to have that impact. And so as the New Orleans Saints sit with a top 10 selection at 9 and have the opportunity to potentially take a top 10 tight end or take a top 10 safety or a top 10 linebacker or a top 10 running back, I don't think they're going to shy away from that if they believe that player, like, I don't know, Matt, maybe an Ashton Genty out of Boise State.
Stop it. That's Ross Jackson. Great to visit. Get out of here. Hang up on him quickly.
It, man. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. But no, I thought that was a great way for him to look at it in terms of, look, we care about the impact of a player as opposed to where he's having that impact. So just an interesting tidbit there that maybe primes the Saints to do something that's not necessarily at a premium position, but in a way to treat that player like a premier player in their system.
There's a lot of stuff up at LouisianaSports.net. Ross's takeaways, a piece about quarterbacks, then more on positional value there, all coming shortly. It's all free over at LouisianaSports.net. Of course, you can listen to Ross Locked On Saints or watch on YouTube or however you get your podcast. Okay, man, appreciate it. Safe travels. Thanks for jumping aboard.
Of course, buddy. Talk to you soon. Take care. Stay safe.
All right, be well. That is Ross Jackson. It's After Further Review. Our show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. The official beer of AFR. Tigers back on the diamond tonight against Louisiana Tech. Remember, before first pitch, if you're at the box, you get 50% off certain concessions, Bud Light included in there. So you want to get to your seat. Nothing better than like a dog and a beer, some peanuts and a beer at a ball game. If you're getting out to the box tonight, remember, grab an ice cold Bud Light, some concessions, 50% off before first pitch. So make sure that you make that part of your game day every day over at the box or anytime you're watching anything. Bud Light, drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of the Tigers and the official beer of AFR. I do want to delve deeper into what Ross just had to say there because there was a lot. It's newsy to kind of get underway here. But we are going to come back to some of the quarterback stuff that Ross dug in there because Kellen Moore saying they want to have their backup quarterback solidified before training camp is really interesting because you got two guys that you've drafted in the two most recent classes on your roster, and you might draft another one here, which tells you all those guys aren't going to be on this roster. So who isn't going to be? We'll know a lot more here in the next 3 weeks as you're 24 days away from the NFL draft, and we'll know much more by then. If the Saints do come through this draft and come out of it with another quarterback, it's safe to say that Rattler, Haener, both of them will not be on the team in 2025. So a ton to do, and we'll get some more reaction to that. All right, it is After Further Review. Our Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Thanks to Ross for opening up with us. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. While I was out yesterday, we got the news of Blaine Bradford, 5-star safety out of Catholic High. He commits to Ohio State. Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger, will react to that and tell us if the LSU has a legitimate shot of flipping him before the December signing date. We'll get to that next on AFR.
After Further Review.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time, or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001. We always kind of get that last cold snap. I think we done had that a few weeks ago. It is done. We're getting into the 80s every day. Summer is staring us straight in the face. That means triple-digit heat indexes every single day for several months. Make sure your home central AC is ready for that grind. River City's 1 Hour Air can help. Give them a buzz at 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or online at onehourbr.com. They'll come out to the house. They make sure your AC is in tip-top shape for the coming warm weather. Randy did this, and he shared a 5-star Google review. As usual, the staff from 1 Hour AC was exceptional. Cody Smith was courteous, knowledgeable, and helpful. Maybe yours could be next. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Give them a buzz, 752-0001.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
These are the
luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, glad you're rolling along with us here on this Tuesday, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. We'll talk some Pels in an hour. Jake Madison will be here. We haven't had a ton of opportunity to talk Pels, but when Zion's in the news, it's a lightning rod, so we'll talk about it. They're shutting down Z and CJ McCollum for the rest of the year. Very clearly, they're tanking the rest of the way, something you probably should have done months ago. But we'll see what it nets them. Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger, joins us every Tuesday. Good opportunity to do it now, especially with Monday's news. Shady, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing great. We appreciate you as always. Okay, let's start with Blaine Bradford picking Ohio State. If I could just start maybe with a reaction on the timing, Shea, because as I understand it, we were all anticipating Blaine would make his decision in the summer. So reaction to him making the announcement now.
That's the most shocking thing. I think when people ask, oh my gosh, were you surprised that he picked Ohio State? No, that was the other main school in the running. It was the timing. He had just locked in official visits for the summer with LSU and Ohio State. And it was going to, we thought, come down to those visits, then a decision, but he was in Columbus this past weekend for an unofficial visit, and the words out of Blaine's mouth were that he just kind of felt the vibe up there, prayed on it, and said, hey, look, I'll go ahead and go public and get on board. So the timing of a Monday morning, 10 a.m., kind of out of nowhere, LSU's on spring break, you don't expect much news, and then that comes down was surprising. But no, not necessarily Ohio State, given that is the competition.
So Shea, Blaine was on an unofficial visit in Columbus. So sometimes that makes sense, right? Guys are on a visit, they get caught up in the emotion of being there, and they pop a commitment. Do you read that that's what this was? It was sort of just that spur-of-the-moment emotional decision, or have we learned that maybe there was something more there?
I wouldn't say spur-of-the-moment emotional. Spur-of-the-moment emotional as much as it's probably included in a myriad of factors that, hey, look, and you get this. You've grown up here. You went to Catholic High. I think this is way more paramount with you high kids. But you grow up here. You're around LSU. You're around Baton Rouge your whole life. And then you go to another college town that you really like and we're really interested in the program. And certainly they have a pretty nice track record at DB, specifically safety, here in recent years. And I guess that pitch, in my opinion, opens the door for them. And let's be real, LSU is joined by Ohio State and Bama and Georgia. And these are the teams that every cycle are sitting right there in the top 5. So this is elite competition, NIL era or not. I just think that a part of it, Matt, to get to what you're saying, I think is he got out of Baton Rouge for a weekend. He's been there before, but to really kind of get back, soak it in, get around some players and coaches, and some of the other commits they have. I think that he thought, hey, look, if I'm going to do this, I might as well trust my gut, do it now, and there's 10 months till signing day. So even in his mind, if he says, hey, look, I don't know if this is ultimately exactly what I'm going to do, he's got a ton of time to shift things up.
Sure. That's the next sort of giant question, right, is can LSU flip him? So what does the process look like for LSU starting now, Shea, all the way through December?
Excuse me, Matt. I don't think, or everybody listening, I don't think that it has to change much. And maybe you would say, well, it wasn't enough to get him. I don't know. Maybe it is in the long run. Go back, and you know this, but for the viewers, he started at Catholic as a true freshman. He played a game of football for the Bears maybe before LSU offered, and that's the first college offer he ever tweeted about. He's a junior in high school, but that was 2.5 years ago. Ohio State offered him 9 months ago. This is the school that's right down the block. This is the school that has really prioritized him, again, since he was in ninth grade. We saw what the approach was with last year's safety cycle going into this one, where they knew they had Aiden Hall, who's a similar kind of big-bodied safety to Blaine, and then they went out and got a coverage safety in Dylan Purder just a week ago, a 4-star out of Alabama. So that final piece was Blaine, and right now he's on board with the Buckeyes. But again, long time till signing day, and this isn't specific to just Blaine. Now, being a Baton Rouge kid, I think works both ways. You could say you get into campus anytime you want, or you could counter it with the argument that maybe he does want to get away. But I think just as a Louisiana kid, time, if LSU's playing well, then it's all over the news, the radio, the paper, at school, everyone's talking about it. And let's be real, LSU has the number 1 recruiting class right now. Ohio State, I think, jumped to 6 or something. They're going to finish up there, but that's going to be a storyline if LSU maintains this kind of heater they've been on of if they're playing well on the field, they've got a top class. I wouldn't call it pressure, but all of those things, and then toss in not just being around family and then being able to go to your games, but his brother is on the team. He will be at games this year to watch his brothers. So I think there's a lot that goes into this that even Buckeye fans would say, much like LSU fans would, if they got a kid from Columbus committed, that this is awesome, but a long way to go until signing day.
That was going to be my next follow-up there, was going to be about Jacob, who's on campus. I think a lot of people would naturally, Shea, assume that they would want to play together, like the 3 Weeks brothers are currently. Is that something, as best as you know, that's been part of both Jacob and Blaine's recruitment, is the possibility of them playing together?
I mean, it's certainly an aspect that LSU is the only one that can pitch and has pitched, here in recent months, given that Blaine flipped his commitment and signed with LSU in December. So at least since then, if not before then, when they had offered Jacob a scholarship. So you're thinking at least 6 months of time where they've said, hey, look, y'all two will have this opportunity to play together. And that still exists for another 10 months. Now, obviously, Jacob hasn't stepped foot on campus for a practice game and all that yet, but he'll be there in the fall. He'll be on the team, and I do think that's a storyline to monitor, because there was never package deal talk, but they're close brothers. They played together at Catholic. It's not as if they're trying to go to separate schools.
The other thing that everyone, of course, is going to ask about, Shea, is NIL, rev share. To the best of your knowledge, if you know anything, how much does that factor in here?
I don't think that factored into this decision at all. I think that LSU and Ohio State can present. If you're sitting down and having very serious NIL discussions right now, which, look, you present all of those things, but when it comes crunch time, the discussions become very real. We saw it with Pickett and Underwood and all of these others, where it was LSU's in the lead, and here comes reports of Oregon County and all of that. This is before officials even happened. I think this is just one of those things where both schools had made pitches over a period of time, and he was up there and enjoyed it once again, and has always said that Ohio State was the team that kind of perhaps was out front if there was, if he were to leave the state. And I think it's way more that than anything in NIL at this stage.
Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. Make sure you get him on Twitter at Shea Dixon. So you mentioned the timeline with being on spring break. So no visits right now. It's quiet right now around LSU with recruiting?
Well, I mean, as quiet as Monday was, and then as quiet as having your number one class can be, I guess. But sure, a little bit of downtime as they coaches got time off, players obviously get their time off, and then they'll regroup. What is it, this weekend, next week? So, yeah, you got about a 4 or 5 day break here after, really coming out of February, an entire month where they were seemingly hosting guys every day. So, yep, the recruiting news outside of random Monday 10 a.m. commits nobody expected is kind of quiet for right now until everything kind of kicks back into gear this weekend.
All right, well, I got a minute then. Let's talk a little bit of basketball, something you and I don't get to do a ton of, but the Tigers did. How about that? The Tigers did pop a couple of transfer portal commitments on Monday. Okay, how did this come about?
Well, I think it goes back to what was talked about. I mean, I wrote about this. You talked about it in February, early February, that the whole Matt McMahon, are they going to fire Matt McMahon? And anyone who would read his buyout would see, okay, that's a lot of money to fire someone and then clean out a staff, which is $10+ million. Oh, and then go hire an entire new staff, all while trying to retain players and get players. It seems way kind of more advantageous for you that you think Matt McMahon's a good coach. It's why you hired him, right? I mean, he was very, very good at Murray State, winning 30-something games that final year. But they don't have the pieces, and the reality was that the budget, and you've talked about this plenty, but the NIL budget that the SEC, the most stacked basketball conference there was, and the deepest it's probably ever been as a conference, not dead last, second to last. South Carolina was dead last. That's exactly how they finished in the standings. LSU was second to last. South Carolina was last. Every other team in the SEC made the tournament. It's not that hard to kind of draw the lines there and connect dots and say, got it, the two teams who didn't make the tournament were the two teams that had the least amount of NIL kind of budget to spend or pool to work with. So they were going to go in and say, hey, look, we'll invest in McMahon in this program by kind of backing NIL more. And you come out the gates on Monday morning by landing a guy out of state, a rim protector, who started every game for him this past season. In Mike Loco, 6'10", 24 blocks on the year. So you wanted that type of piece. Certainly, we knew that Matt McMahon did. They got it. But the big boom, if you will, and certainly the big moment where LSU fans can say, okay, well, what you guys were saying about the approach Woodward would have and this, the athletic department would have, and what Matt McMahon was being told and would have matched up to what was being reported, because they went out and they got UNLV's transfer guard, Dedan Thomas, who his dad had played at UNLV, stayed home to play at UNLV. He's been going off at UNLV, and then he hits the portal, and he lands at LSU. And it's being reported right now that Pete Nakos wrote an article for On3 today about this, that the top guys, the top scorers, who he's one of them, he's a top 10 overall player in the portal, and he is a top 3 point guard in the portal as well, are going for north of $2 million in terms of what these NIL packages could look like. Now, he didn't report that was the exact number for Dedan Thomas, but I can say, and again, this has been reported, you said it, he probably got more in an NIL package than LSU was able to work with the entire roster last year in the offseason. And you've already retained Jalen Reed, which was one of the biggest pieces you wanted to keep coming off his injury. And we'll see what happens with guys like Robert Miller. But you come out of the gates like that, and then they've got guys on campus today who were top 15 scorers out of the Coastal playing at Elon. You don't just land a player, certainly not like Dedan Thomas, without a good recruiting pitch coupled with some NIL backing. And they pulled it off. And, Matt, I will say that I now believe that they very much have more NIL backing than they did a year ago, because I've never had in the history of covering men's basketball at LSU my entire mentions on Twitter just dominated by Kentucky fans, furious at Mark Pope and the staff in Lexington, because I can give you these NIL numbers. I'll tell you the top 10 portal kid, but I think maybe the biggest kind of way for me to tell the common fan is that LSU just beat out Kentucky and Florida for this player. And Florida's in the Final Four. Kentucky had already publicly said they were going to give Mark Pope even more money, and they were spending north of $10 million a year ago, reportedly, in NIL budget. And here comes LSU beating them out for someone that they very much wanted up in Lexington. So rare day, I guess 24 hours, when the Kentucky fans are upset and then the LSU fans mentions with men's basketball. Doesn't happen often.
Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. Hopefully more good news coming for the basketball squad as well. By the way, Shea, one part of that, super stealth, man. There was no report of LSU in the mix for Thomas. It was Kentucky, it was Florida, and then LSU swooped in and got that deal done. Very impressive how they were able to get that across the finish line.
Even more so, I saw that. I was reading Matthew Bruni, who covers it all the basketball stuff for me at the Bengal Tiger, for us, the Bengal Tiger. And when he wrote the piece, I was glancing over his stats, and then it said he made a secret visit last week. I was like, whoa, okay, all right. The staff is playing very low-key on this one because, as you mentioned, not even really a mention of him out there, let alone that he was on campus and visiting with staff.
Shea, we appreciate it as always, man. Have a great rest of your week. We'll do it again next week.
Yep, sounds good. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, bud. We're brought to you by Parish Restoration. Go to parishrestoration.com. Had a lot of bad weather through the area on Monday, really across Louisiana all weekend, that giant band of storms. If you had water intrusion, need to take care of it, our friends over at Parish Restoration can help you out. Mold remediation, maybe sanitization if you got viruses spreading throughout your home, your office building, or odor, cigarette smoke, pet odor, sweat from a gym, a workout facility. Of course, all that they can knock out with their patented non-toxic dry fog. They can even come to your work and fog your car. If your fog has that musty, nasty smell, maybe you bought a car that pre-owned that was maybe owned by a smoker, you're having trouble getting that smell out of it, this fog will do it. They'll come to they have the Sprinter van, so they'll come to your office, fog your vehicle, 30 minutes, boom, they're done while you're at work. You get back in after a day of work, your vehicle smells totally fresh and clean. ParishRestoration.com. Do business with someone you know. It's Parish Restoration. Let me knock out a break. We'll come back, go around the SEC. I do want to follow up on that because I wasn't here yesterday. I'm sure Muse talked about Nwoko signing with LSU. It's DJ Thomas. It's official. His paperwork's in. He is an LSU Tiger. LSU had the official release today. So LSU's got their first 2 out of the portal for basketball. I do want to give you some thoughts on that when we come back, and we'll go around the SEC as well. In about 30 minutes, so right at the top of hour number 2, some anonymous coaches from the SEC, I love doing this, made some comments about Garrett Nussmeier that I want to share and draw some parallels to, well, the greatest to ever do it, the purple and gold. We'll do that coming up here in about half an hour. Don't you move, it's AFR.
After further review.
Remember the Advanced Turnaround Group. It's turnaround season. Right now, March, April, the springtime till about October. This is turnaround season. You got those turnaround jobs coming in. You're looking for companies to bid your turnaround. The Advanced Turnaround Group at Action Industries is where you got to start. Again, Action Industries, commercial contractor for more than 40 years, servicing the petrochemical refinery markets. This is their turnaround division. Make it so clear they're not pulling resources from other parts of the business. This is a completely separate pool of resources, separate pool of workers and managers, and all of their resources specifically designated for turnaround work. It's the Advanced Turnaround Group over at Action Industries. Of course, Action Industries is a proud partner of LSU Athletics all baseball season. They sponsor all the mound visits, so there's plenty of those. Probably get some more tonight. It's the Advanced Turnaround Group at Action Industries.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
For the review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Plowing these fields in the hot summer sun. Over by the gate, Lordy, here she comes with a basket full of...
Not too early to start thinking about your outdoor power equipment. Of course, their battery-powered brand, Ego, for blowers, trimmers, chainsaws. You can get them all 50% off on any handheld or walk-behind tool when you purchase a John Deere ride mower. It's time, y'all. Spring's here. Get on by us here, friends. It's Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Go around the SEC in just a quick second. Thanks to Shea Dixon, who was with us, and we did talk about Mike Nwoko and DJ Thomas from UNLV, who committed to LSU basketball on Monday. You know, I don't think this is any time for celebrations, backflips, or anything of the sort. Victory laps, all that stuff. What I will say is, wherever you fall on Matt McMahon or the basketball program and what they should do or shouldn't, the thing that I was very clear about here, and I made it abundantly clear at the start of this whole thing, so there were no misgivings. But I told you the same thing that I said back in December, or I guess late November, when Bryce Underwood flipped. And then Jakeem Stewart picked USC and Cade Phillips flipped to Texas. And I said, okay, well, as bad as that felt, let's take a look in a month. Give them a month. Because they have all these financial resources, and they say they're going to go spend it in the portal. So remember, as bad as you felt when all that Underwood, Stewart, Phillips stuff happened, that very quickly dissipated when you saw the portal class they put together. And they are trying to take, LSU is, the same approach in basketball. I'm not guessing, y'all. This isn't something I plucked from the air. I had very real conversations about that this was the approach. And I've told you the number. They spent $1.8 million on the basketball roster this year. The middle of the league, Missouri, Vandy were spending north of $5 million. Auburn, the contenders, were at 8 and higher. Like, you're not competitive. You weren't. They earmarked funds from NIL with the collective to front load the same way they've done in football. And they'll have the revenue share coming up. This was the intention, to spend on a roster. So, can you get players to take your money? Because there's a lot of programs that are going to spend on basketball. And clearly your answer so far with a couple of guys is yes. Now, there was also a really highly touted dude at Tulane from the state of Louisiana who just got away. And I'm certain that's a guy they would have liked to have had. But we'll see. Like, give him a month. When the dust settles on this portal cycle, give them a month, and let's see where they stand. And I'll tell you, you have people within the athletic department now. It's just been made aware, as I've been made aware. There are people within the athletic department who have backgrounds working at schools that invest very heavily in college basketball, men's college basketball, where men's college basketball is a driver for some of those schools. And you have people in the LSU athletic department now who've come from those places and are sharing their experiences with how those schools went about funneling resources in the portal NIL era for basketball to attract a roster, to attract good players from the portal to build a roster. And I think you're already seeing some of the fruits of that. Again, just because you added Mike Nwoko and DJ Thomas doesn't mean you're going to the Final Four. But it does validate the approach you're taking. And yes, DJ Thomas, LSU beat Kentucky and Florida for him. Kentucky, who has as rich a basketball tradition, is maybe the richest basketball tradition in the country, and Florida, who's in the Final Four. And LSU went stealth mode on that one because nobody had mentioned LSU in the DJ Thomas sweepstakes. And then all of a sudden, there pops the commit. So, let's see what else they've got. And give them a month. The same, all you those of you who melt over Matt McMahon, you want to fire him, the same people who in November were nailing the football staff against the wall. And they came through it okay. Now they got to win with that talent, and that the onus is on them in the fall. That's why I've said many times, like, if Brian Kelly don't make a playoff with this roster, it probably isn't going to happen for him at LSU. Because after this year, you're going to have a talent exodus of all these guys that you just brought in to win now. I'd say the same about Matt McMahon. They go spend $5-6 million on this roster, and he can't make the tournament. It's probably not going to happen for Matt McMahon. Then you have that real conversation. But give him a roster. See what he can do. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. Need tires? You go to Shaw Bills. Why? Because they'll sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Remember, go to the website, ShawBillsTire.com. Look at the top of the page. They've got the promotions tab. Every single special is right there at the website. And they combine the manufacturer's offer with their own in-house offer to get you the best price possible. They guarantee it, as a matter of fact. Like, you buy tires at Shaw Bills and you find those tires advertised cheaper somewhere else, they'll credit you 125% of the difference. That's incredible. Like, you literally can't get a cheaper price. So buy the best tires at the cheapest price. Of course, they'll treat you like family at Shaw Bills. Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. Okay, y'all, it's After Further Review. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Missouri Tigers.
Quarterback Drew Pine is leaving Missouri. He'll enter the transfer portal. Transferred to Missouri this year after spending the 2023 season at Arizona State. Before that, he was at Notre Dame. Played in 6 games as Brady Cook's backup, but now in the portal again.
Texas A&M!
Maryland's hiring Texas A&M coach Buzz Williams is their next head coach. That's following Kevin Willard's departure for Villanova. Buzz Williams, 52 years old. Really great run of success at A&M. This year, the Aggies reached the round of 32 for the second consecutive year. A&M's reached the tournament 3 consecutive appearances. That after having been shut out since 2018.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Bama landed a 7-foot transfer, Noah Williamson, from Bucknell. Has 1 year of eligibility remaining. He was the Patriot League Player of the Year, averaging 17 and 7 for Bucknell.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Josh Hubbard's testing the NBA draft waters. He's declared for the draft, made the announcement on social media here on Tuesday. Coming off a sophomore season where he averaged 19 points per game in SEC play. Also led Mississippi State in three-pointers. This year's NBA draft is in June. I'm looking for the date, looking for the withdrawal date. I don't see it. We'll get to it later.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Ohio State transfer Michi Johnson is returning to South Carolina. So he started at South Carolina, went to Ohio State. Now he's going back to Columbia. 6'2", 185-pound senior from Cleveland. Cleveland. Oh, it's on the same button. It was a little low. Cleveland. Played in 10 games this last year for Ohio State. Averaged 9 points for the Buckeyes.
The Texas Longhorns.
Max Ballou will miss the remainder of the season with a broken thumb. What a bummer. Kendall Rogers had the news from D1 baseball. Last year's Big 12 Player of the Year, of course, off to a great start in the SEC, hitting .358 with 6 homers for the Longhorns. Of course, Texas 8-1 in conference play here in their first 3 weekends in the league. They play Georgia this weekend in top 5 matchup.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
And A.J. Russell set to return to the mound against Tennessee Tech here on Tuesday. Had Tommy John surgery, so good to see Russell getting back. Tony V said they were targeting April and May for when Russell would return after he pitched on February the 25th. So Tennessee Tech tonight against the Vols. All right, there you have it. That is around the SEC Tuesday shows. Powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Learn more at sunnyquip.com, sunnyquip.com. Okay, y'all, it is after further review. We're going to knock out a quick break. NFL owners meetings going down today in Florida. Ross Jackson was there. He was here with us as we started the show. The NFL owners, though, did approve several notable rule changes. Want to go through some of those, including one that I had to check to see if it was real or if it was an April Fool. Seriously, we'll get to that next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Speaking of April Fools, go check out Duplessis Builders on social media if you haven't done it yet today. They posted a video. It's actually very well done. They posted a video of the first ever AI pool, artificial intelligence pool, which obviously is not real at all, but still pretty funny to see. It's like the pool that its curvature changes like in the middle of the thing. Anyway, look, they love to have fun, but the bottom line, too, is when you're talking about Duplessis, you're going to get exceptional craftsmanship. There are tons of pool companies, and a lot of them have Instagram pages with beautiful pools, and Duplessis is no different. They build beautiful pools. And the big difference, though, for Duplessis and everyone else is the level of workmanship, the craftsmanship. Derek is a mechanical engineer by trade, turned into a pool builder. He's brought that level of expertise and standard into the pool building game. That's why you get a 10-year workmanship warranty. DuplessisBuilders.net.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always. No paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Sneem booty, boom, sneem beat, blap, sling. Man, I feel better today than did yesterday. Whoo, dog. Lots of narcotics yesterday. Legal narcotics. Major back issue, like scale of 1 to 10 pain. It was on a 9 yesterday, which is one of those where it's like, kill me or just give me enough drugs to make me go unconscious. And so I chose the latter. Glad to do that. And shout out to Crystal Poche, Restored Motions. Got me vertical again. She's a true healer, a magician. I've talked about her before. If you have pain, there's nothing in the world I would recommend more. Book a session at Restored Motions with Crystal Poche. It's hard to explain what she does, but she looks at healing your body in a different way. And I've done everything. When I say everything, as much as we joke about Muse with his bad weed habit, I've even done medicinal marijuana when it's been prescribed. I've done every damn thing you can imagine for pain. Painkillers, muscle relaxers. I've done stem therapy. I've done acupuncture. I've done everything. PT, OT, stretching, yoga, name it. I've done it all. When you live in chronic pain, I've tried everything. And I'm telling you, there is nothing in my life I have done that has found the root cause, not just masked symptoms, found the root cause of my pain and helped take me out of it than Crystal Poche at Restored Motions. You got pain? Book a session with her and thank me later. Anyone that's ever been will tell you the same thing. Unbelievable. I mean, I practically crawled into the office yesterday and I walked out standing upright after 1 hour. I mean, just Restored Motions, Crystal Poche, book a session, you'll thank me. And thanks to Muse for filling in yesterday, because I texted Muse, I don't know, at like 5:30 in the morning when I woke up and was like, this is not happening today. I'm going to take drugs and I'm going to pass out all day. So thank you, Muse.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's I'm glad you enjoyed your drugs.
I wouldn't say that I enjoyed it. There was nothing enjoyable about yesterday.
I'm glad your drugs worked.
They worked. But the thing about that is when you take drugs like that, like when you take Oxy, I was on Oxy and muscle relaxers.
Yeah.
You go through these cycles. So it's like you're in this pain where all you want to do is like, it's so painful, like you want to vomit or just pass. I mean, that's where I was yesterday morning. And you take meds and then they work to the point where it knocks you out. And then when you start to come out of that, your head's like in a fog. And then the fog starts to clear and the medicine's still working. And so you feel okay until you don't, right? Until it starts to wear off, then you don't feel so good. So then you take more and then you pass out again. And so my whole day yesterday was this big like cyclical ebb and flow of like in and out of states of consciousness. And okay, well, and Rivers just popped in studio and said hello. But she called me this morning and be like, how, because Rivs works on LouisianaSports.net. She's running the site day to day for us. And she was like, how you feeling? Like, better. Not good, but better than I was yesterday. She's like, I was like, yeah, I was in and out of. She's like, oh, I know, because it was like there'd be long stretches where you were not present at all, and then boom, you were really in it on the text line, and then you were gone for a long time. I was like, yes, that's the ebbs and flows of that, but feeling better. So, okay, so did you see this today? The NFL, I literally, not joking, I mean, it's April Fool's, it's April 1st. So I saw this, that NFL on ESPN tweeted the NFL is going to use, they're using camera-based technology to measure first downs next year. They're going away from the chain gang. And so I quote tweeted it, April Fool's or not. Like, because that's one where I'm like, I didn't know legitimately if that's real, but apparently it is. Like, I haven't seen anything to the contrary yet that would suggest it's fake, and I heard Christine Lisi on SportsCenter at the top of the hour say it. So unless if they got her too, I think this is real. Ooh. I mean, if they could have gotten Christine.
That's rough, man. She works for the company.
Well, but it's the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, whoever's running the ESPN Twitter, I don't think they're going to Christine Lisi and saying, hey, Christine, we're about to do this thing on Twitter. But anyway, apparently it's real, but it said the league announced. ESPN says the league announced. Well, I went to the NFL Twitter. It ain't on the NFL Twitter. So I'm like, oh, no. But I have made this point for years, right? I mean, we talked about, because Eagle View in tennis, isn't that what it's called? Like the Hawkeye or whatever it's called, the Eagle Eye, the one where, like,
Eagle Eye sounds right.
You know what I'm talking about, where like they can market the balls in or out. We've done this. They've done that since like 2002. I mean, it's been over 20 years they've had this technology in tennis, and we still got a bunch of fat jacklegs running chains out from the sideline, linked together between two poles. We're taking an index card and putting it between the ball and the stick to see if it's a first down. Like, it's 2025. We're landing rockets on the moon. What are we doing? Two fat guys holding sticks? Like, let's go. So did we confirm? Eagle Eye, Eagle View, Hawkeye? You were over there.
Yeah, well, I was.
Muse, you don't give as good a Google as I do. As much as the parent. No one Googles like Scone. All right. Hour number 2 is coming up next. You're late.
AFR.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Maryland has hired Texas A&M's Buzz Williams as its new men's basketball coach. The fate of the tush push will have to wait. NFL owners tabled the vote on the proposal to ban the play. Opponents cite player safety concerns, but the proposed ban's about more than that, believes ESPN NFL analyst Ryan Clark.
To me, it's coaches knowing that I ain't got Jalen Hurts. I don't have Josh Allen. I ain't got Deion Dawkins. I don't have Dickerson. I don't have Jurgens. I don't have these dudes that are willing to sacrifice, play in and play out on 4th and 1 to go get it done. And if you don't have those dudes, then don't run it. But defensively, you got to find some people to stop it.
The NFL will use a camera system to measure first downs in 2025. Chain gangs, though, will remain on the sidelines in a secondary capacity. Steelers owner Art Rooney II said he keeps hearing quarterback Aaron Rodgers is headed in their direction. The NBA suspended Detroit's Isaiah Stewart 2 games, Marcus Sasser and Ron Holland II 1 game apiece, and Minnesota's Dante DiVincenzo and Naz Reid each 1 game as a result of Sunday night's fight between the teams.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Wednesday, Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, and Jackson Dart could potentially go in the first round. So what exactly are their ceilings? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Matthew Ontario Musso. And Mr. Toby Tomplin. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Pels have shut down Zion. Shocker. Talk to Jake Madison in 15 minutes. Will Helmers next hour. Oh, I got to talk about this too. Just got this posted at LouisianaSports.net. Saints are going to host Quinn Ewers on a top 30 visit. I mean, I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Some of y'all ain't about that action. I am very much about that action with Quinn Ewers as a target for the Saints, either late day 2 or early day 3. I'm not sure I love it at pick 40, but you're going to tell me Quinn Ewers with one of the third-round picks, or you move up early day 3. Remember the Saints did a couple of years ago with Nick Saldiveri. They traded up to the first pick of day 3 to take Nick Saldiveri out of Old Dominion. Now, that hasn't worked great, but the point is they've done it. There's precedent there, and if there's a guy they love, they'll get out and get him. So much more about that. And by the way, in 1 hour, start of hour 3, I want to kind of catch up on all the Shedeur stuff because there's a lot of smoke out there about Shedeur Sanders and the Saints, in particular with Shedeur seemingly seeing his draft stock slip a little bit. So anyway, getting that in 1 hour. Speaking of quarterbacks, whenever so I don't love lists. A list is just really someone's opinion, and I really don't particularly care. It can be a jumping off point for a conversation. So I don't really care that Adam Rittenberg of ESPN put together a list of the top returning quarterbacks in college football. And Adam's a guest of the show, and I think he does great work. But his list has as much validity as mine or Paul's or Muse's or yours, or it just doesn't really matter. But in this piece where Rittenberg ranked the returning quarterbacks for next year, he also included quotes of anonymous coaches. Now that I'm very interested in, because when you give a coach the cloak and veil of anonymity, then you start to get real honesty. What does a coach really think about a player? Well, let him answer that question anonymously and you'll get a real answer. So, by the way, Rittenberg has Garrett Nussmeier ranked as the third best quarterback in the country returning. Only Drew Aller from Penn State and Cade Klubnik, who LSU will play week 1, are higher. So we got Nuss 3. So all the stuff, right? His stats, why he's ranked where he is, blah, 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 whatever. Okay, now what they're saying is the part that I'm interested in. So here's what these anonymous coaches are saying about Garrett Nussmeier. An SEC coach called Nussmeier, quote, an elite player, adding that he's probably the conference's best returning quarterback. Another SEC coach noted Nussmeier's passing yards total and said, quote, he's going to cause a lot of problems for teams, end quote. An SEC defensive coordinator said, quote, this is the part that I really want to focus on. He has really good pocket awareness. I wouldn't say he's an athlete in the pocket, but we thought he had good enough movement to extend the play to get it downfield. We thought his strength was his decision-making. How about that? We thought his strength was his decision-making. If you poll LSU fans, people who watch Nuss and have, what's the biggest criticism? Sometimes it's his decision-making. He's careless with the football. So what I wanted to see was like, does our perception of Nuss, the gunslinger, takes too many risks, does that map to reality, or does what this SEC defensive coordinator said actually map more to reality? Good movement to extend the play to get it downfield. We thought his strength was his decision-making. Well, Joe Sloan met with reporters a week ago after one of the spring practices and had this to say about what he's expecting here from Garrett Nussmeier going into year 2 as a starter.
Garrett was prepared to play, but then there are certain things that he needed to go through that you can only get preparation by playing. You can only get the experience by playing. This offseason has been able to be a little bit different because now he's going back, and when he's studying, he's not just studying his practice tape or maybe our tape and what could happen. He's looking at specifically some stuff that he needs to improve on. And I think he's been really intentional, whether it be something technical with a throw, whether it be the understanding of a defense, whether it be how we're playing, whether it be our footwork, all different kinds of things. And being able to really be intentional, take control of that, and make those corrections. And the big thing now is taking that to practice. And really, a lot of it he's been doing a great job with that. I couldn't be more proud of him.
Okay. The beginning of that, where he said the biggest difference now is some of the things you can only learn through experience, from going through it. Well, now Garrett's been on the road at Columbia, South Carolina, down in the second half and having to rally. He's been on the road in College Station, up 2 touchdowns, rolling to his left, throwing back across the field, and throwing a pick that allowed A&M to get back in the game. He's been in all those situations now. He's been down at home against Ole Miss, facing a 4th down to keep the game going, and throwing a touchdown down the seam to Aaron Anderson, then winning in overtime. All of that are circumstances, some good and some bad, that he's now experienced. So now how do you stack on top of it? So I thought this was so interesting because of the quote the SEC coordinator had about his decision-making. We thought his strength was his decision-making. Okay, I look at that and I go, that's in the face of pressure. It's easy to make a decision when you got a clean pocket and there's an open receiver. I'm standing upright, there's a receiver open throwing the ball. Be accurate. What about when you're being pressured? Okay, this is all from PFF. And this is data, okay? So this isn't a subjective PFF grade, right? This is actual charted data. Garrett was pressured 153 times this year. So 153 pressures in 13 games. 16 times he threw the ball away. 15 times he was sacked. 12 times he scrambled. And then they chart something called a turnover-worthy play. How many plays were turnover-worthy? Like you made a bad decision. There were 18 turnover-worthy plays. As a percentage, that's 3.1%. So remember that, okay? Garrett being pressured 153 times, 3.1% of his decisions were turnover-worthy. It's pretty good. It means 97% of the time he did the right thing, which kind of maps to what that defensive coordinator said. So I said, I wonder what Joe Burrow did. Right? I mean, if you're going to compare some, let's compare it against the standard. Okay. In 2019, Burrow was pressured 188 times. Now, he did play in 15 games. He threw it away 9 times. Nuss threw it away 16. Okay? So, but you want to talk about taking risks. With 35 more pressures, Burrow threw it away about half as many times as Nuss did. Burrow took 36 sacks, Nussmeier only 15, meaning Nuss got rid of the football. Burrow scrambled 47 times, Nuss just 12, so that's a big difference there as well. Joe used his legs. But this was interesting. Turnover-worthy plays, Burrow had 11. That was 1.7%. On 188 pressures, Burrow was, quote-unquote, careless with the football only 11 times. If you go to 2018, that number was 4%. Remember, Nuss was 3.1. So Burrow 2018, Garrett in 2024, under pressure, was better than Joe Burrow in 2018. So it's plausible, taking what Joe Sloan said, he's got all this experience now to learn from, that he'll be better in 2025, right? I mean, that is a rational thing to assume. I'm not telling you he's going to go throw for 5,000 yards and have the greatest season ever like Joe Burrow did. But he's already, in his first season as a starter, Nussmeier, better than Burrow was in 2018 in those, threw for more yards, more touchdowns, better under pressure, all those things. How much closer can he get to Burrow in the 2019 version of Burrow? Not saying he's going to be Burrow. Please don't misunderstand. I'm not saying Garrett's going to win a Heisman, throw for 5,000 yards and 60 touchdowns. But I don't think you need to. But can you be better in 25 than you were in 24? If that's the case, then LSU should be a playoff team. You don't take my word for it. This is an SEC defensive coordinator telling you his strength was his decision-making. And the numbers kind of map to that. Better than Joe Burrow was in 2018. How much closer can he get to the 2019 version of Burrow? Be a big, big part of LSU trying to move toward a playoff appearance in 2025. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online, SouthPointVW.com. That's SouthPointVW.com. Remember, if you're in the market for a new vehicle, y'all, we're getting closer to graduation season. Got that high school graduate, the college graduate in your family. Maybe you're looking to buy them that first vehicle. Man, go to Volkswagen. It's the best of all worlds. You're going to get the safety and affordability that you want, and they're going to get the style and luxury and feel and performance that they want. It's a perfect blend. And Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer is South Point Volkswagen. Remember, they're manufactured right here in the U.S. of A. at their Chattanooga, Tennessee plant. So you're supporting American jobs. SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Okay, y'all, it's After Further Review. The Pels have shut down C.J. McCollum and Zion. Jake Madison of Locked On Pelicans will join us next to talk a little bit about it. We got a ton still to do, including 2 off-the-radar targets that the Saints are being pretty vocal about going after here in this draft process. We'll get to that as well. Ton to do. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel. Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown, the Renaissance there on Bluebonnet. Renaissance Baton Rouge is such a gorgeous facility. If you've not been, sprawling, beautiful, right in the heart of Baton Rouge off of Bluebonnet near the interstate, right across from the Mall of Louisiana and Perkins Row. If you've stepped foot inside of Renaissance Baton Rouge, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There is no better place in town to hold an event than Renaissance. Why? Because they can manipulate their space to host any size event that you have. They have boardrooms for 12 people. Their grand ballroom can host 500 people, and they can do anything in between. As a matter of fact, whenever we had our launch party for LouisianaSports.net, we went to Renaissance Baton Rouge. They had a little space at Tallulah where they had a riser where we did AFR, had the backdrops, the lighting. They had a portable bar that they rolled near us as well, had a cool indoor-outdoor vibe and flow. If you're looking to host an event in 2025, you want Renaissance Baton Rouge. Check them out today. It's Renaissance Baton Rouge.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Bend Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She says she's got a dream, and I ask what it is. She wants
It was more of a collective talk with front office, performance and medical, and obviously our players. They're both dealing with sort of some nagging injuries to finish up the season. Felt like it was a smart way to go.
That is Pelicans coach Willie Green on the decision to shut down Zion and CJ for the rest of what remains in this mostly miserable season. A season that, God bless someone like Jake Madison, who has had to watch every game and do a podcast every day on it. But that's why, when the struggle is real and the things are good, that's where you go. Jake, we appreciate you, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on, Matt.
Okay, our pleasure. Thank you. All right, let's just get a reaction here, Jake. Shutting down Z and CJ, the decision. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, they've been doing this for a minute here. Zion hasn't played since March 19th with this back contusion. CJ hasn't played since the Detroit game. A couple of games later, since I think maybe the 23rd. They've basically been shut down for the year for about 2 weeks or so now, and now the Pelicans are just making it official, probably kind of to cover their butts here when it comes to the NBA and tanking, because that's what this move is. Right now, it's a race to the bottom in the NBA, and oddly, it's competitive for some of those top draft picks here. So they're doing the best they can to just try and improve their draft stock late in the season here, build for next season, I think. And honestly, as much as it kind of sucks, and it does suck, and you mentioned it, it's a miserable season, it's in the best interest of the franchise to do this.
Okay, so let's talk about scenarios and what's possible with what remains on the schedule. There are 7 games remaining. Am I right on that, Jake?
Yeah.
So 7 remaining, as you mentioned, a race to the bottom. Okay, what's possible? Where might they land?
Right now, as it stands, they have the 4th best lottery odds, the 4th worst record in the league. They could get the number 1 overall pick. They could get 2, 3, 4, but they could also drop to 8. And that's why tanking and it is going to be weird to say losing ground in these reverse standings is rather important for them here. Since it's a draft lottery for the top 4 spots, if things go very wrong, a doomsday scenario for New Orleans, they could fall to 8. And in this draft, which is really a 1-person, maybe a 3-person draft would be your kind of tier 2 on that sort of thing. Dropping to 8 with how rough this year has been, I think would be a disaster for the New Orleans Pelicans. You're going to get a good player there, don't get me wrong, but you would not be getting the difference maker that maybe helps launch you back into contention next season. So they need to be as bad as possible, and the best case scenario for them would be to not win another game, would be honestly the best thing for them to do here. But when you have teams like the Philadelphia 76ers who are egregiously tanking, teams like Utah, which is doing the same, you've got to kind of look out for that. So anywhere from 1 to 8, at least right now, is on the table. And if Philly passes them and New Orleans has the 5th best lottery odds, you could be 1, 2, 3, 4, or you could drop as far to 9 in this draft.
Jake, 4 of the final 7 are on the road. But there's always the possibility that playoff teams could rest guys, et cetera. As you look at the next 7, what scenarios could you see playing out in those games where you might run up against teams that are equally tanking?
Luckily New Orleans has the 8th toughest strength of schedule remaining just by opponent win percentage. You play the Lakers, you play the Clippers this week. You've got 2 games against the Milwaukee Bucks. Neither of those teams are going to be resting any players when it comes to it. The game that you kind of worry about them maybe stealing and impacting this sort of thing would be the Oklahoma City Thunder on the final game of the regular season, where they're going to have the 1 seed just sewn up and likely resting guys in that game. That said, look, New Orleans has been bad this season. Even when other teams aren't good, they've lost to those teams. It's evidenced by their 10-20 record in the 30 games that Zion Williamson has played. So I'm not overly worried about them winning too many games down the stretch here with some of those tough teams. Even the weaker teams that they're playing, the Brooklyn Nets or the Miami Heat, Miami's still fighting for, playoff positioning in the play-in tournament. They want to try and salvage their year a little bit. Brooklyn just has more talent right now than New Orleans does. So there is a realistic possibility that the Pelicans might not win another game the remainder of the year, but you'd be looking at 1 or 2 max, which I don't think is going to impact things too much, luckily.
Jake Madison's with us. He's on Twitter at NOLA Jake. Of course, Locked On Pelicans. Subscribe wherever you get podcasts or on YouTube. Jake, do you have any real hard and fast thought on if Willie Green is back next year?
I go back and forth on this, and when I'm off the phone with you here, Matt, I'm going to go record this show, because you look at a team like the Memphis Grizzlies, who just fired Taylor Jenkins, who, when John Morant is healthy, has won nearly 60% of his games as the head coach. And if you're going to fire that guy, it seems like you do probably need to move on from Willie Green. Just based off of record, Willie Green doesn't have a winning record here in New Orleans, but he hasn't lost the locker room. When you look at the issues for this season and other seasons, it's a lack of Zion Williamson, a lack of Brandon Ingram when he was here. I think that might give him a pass. I'd put it at 50-50, at least as of today, if he's going to be back as the head coach next season. The bigger question, what might impact that more, is David Griffin back next season? Are you going to let David Griffin, if he's back next season, pick a 3rd or 4th head coach for this franchise? Or are you going to make him kind of stick with who he has under contract, even if he wants to make a move? But certainly if they move on from David Griffin and the results just haven't been there for this team for a variety of reasons, you would imagine a new general manager or vice president of basketball operations, whatever the title will be, is going to want to pick their own coach. And while I don't think this is all on Willie Green for the disaster that this season and other disappointing years have been, he's definitely a factor into it. And while I think there's maybe 5 coaches in the league that really elevate you and 5 that actively hurt you, and the rest of the 20 guys are kind of in the middle, and Willie Green's is probably in the middle of that, if you don't have one of those top 5 coaches, you should be trying to find one of those top 5 coaches, particularly in a small market where you need every edge that you can get. And if we've kind of determined that Willie Green isn't that guy, it's been here long enough where I think it's safe to make that move. So I think it's 50-50. If it were up to me, I'd probably be going in a different direction next season.
With Green, what about with Griffin?
That one's tougher. That one's a little bit tougher here, right? I think when you look at it, what's caused this team to be held back is injuries to Zion Williamson. And look, a lack of professionalism from Zion Williamson, too. He's caused a lot of these own self-inflicted wounds when it comes to this sort of thing. You were always going to draft that guy. Every general manager was going to take him over John Morant in that draft. It wasn't even a question. So is that David Griffin's fault? But also at a certain point, and I'm going to talk about this on my show, right? You kind of think about process over results, and you want to stick with the process over the results because you can do all of the right things and still have bad outcomes happen, and it's not really on you. This is a results-oriented business. That's what sports are, and the results haven't been there, and I think that's probably why you should make some sort of changes here. But I don't necessarily see the team doing that and just trying to keep a little bit of continuity and talking themselves into we're not going to rebuild, in a market that hasn't always embraced basketball. And this season, attendance is going to be bad these final 3 games. You want to get back into the playoffs next year, and get that attendance and that money. That's not a rebuild, right? So that seems to me to be the reason why they would bring and probably will bring David Griffin back.
A couple more minutes here with Jake Madison, Locked On Pelicans. Your favorite podcast app, YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed. A great time. Even though the season has been a wash, the offseason is going to be interesting with the lottery. It's a great time to go get subscribed if you're not. This feels like a perpetual question, Jake, which you've answered a million times, but for the sake of our audience today, I'll ask it again. There's buzz about the possibility of an offseason trade involving Zion. Is there a scenario where you think that could happen or where it would be worth it for New Orleans to make that move?
Yeah, I think if you fall in the lottery to the 7th, 8th, or 9th spot and you don't get one of those difference makers in this team, I think that's when you really need to consider a rebuild here. When it comes to the injuries that you're facing this year, DeJounte Murray, the big offseason acquisition, isn't going to be ready for the start of the year. He tore his ACL in late January. He's going to miss the first month or 2 of the season. Trey Murphy with the shoulder injury he just suffered and the surgery he just had, that's a 5 to 6 month injury. Is he going to be ready for the opening night of the regular season? And if you're missing those 2 key players for a period of time, how good is this team going to be? This is not a shot on some of the guys that you could draft in that range. Those just aren't guys that are going to elevate your team at least their rookie year. They're not a Cooper Flagg. They're not a Dylan Harper. They're not even a guy like Conca-Nipple out of Duke, who I think will make an immediate impact in the NBA. And that's going to be a problem. And if you're just going to be a middling team, again, the worst place you can be in the NBA is no man's land, where you're barely in the play-in tournament. Maybe you get swept in the first round, and those 2 extra home games, don't get me wrong, in the playoffs are fun, but that's not building you towards a contender. That's only hurting your draft picks. And the best way to acquire talent in the NBA is by drafting in the top 5, really the top 3. That's how you become a title contender for the most part. So if you're not doing that, you're going to have trouble building for the future. So if you fall down in the lottery and you know you're not going to be an elite playoff team next year, rip this Band-Aid off early and start the rebuild now and get a jump on it and get what you can for Zion Williamson. Clear your books, because we saw them in some salary cap trouble to begin the year. That was a factor in the Brandon Ingram trade and why they wouldn't give him an extension. You're still in that to a degree the next couple of seasons. Fix your books. Get what you can from Zion Williamson. Go through what will admittedly be a painful rebuild, but you can come out the other side, a la the Oklahoma City Thunder, who did exactly that. And look at that team right now with even more assets that they can trade. They're number 1 in the league basically right now, and they could get even better if they truly wanted to.
That's a great point. It's amazing what good management can do over and over in a small market. What a blueprint. True or false, I will be the only person watching a 9:30 tip-off on Gulf Coast Sports Network between the Pelicans and the Clippers tomorrow.
I don't think I'll be the only one, but I certainly don't think we're going to be looking at like 4 digits worth of people potentially when it comes to this sort of thing. It's going to be a rough end of the year, and I don't really fault anyone for tuning out given that the season has gone the way that it has. And look, you're not even seeing the star players. But look, a guy like Antonio Reeves is playing really well. He was a 2nd-round pick last year. That's someone that is going to be a piece for this team in the future. He's playing like it. I'm a bit of a basketball junkie and a bit of a sicko, so I'm excited for it tomorrow night.
No, dude, we laugh here because I'm a masochist as well. Like sometimes I'll be sitting there. Like a few Sundays ago, Jake, I was watching the game against the Spurs, and I'm like, it was when the Spurs were wearing their fluorescent unis, and I'm like, I have got to be the only human alive on a Sunday night right now watching this basketball game. Like, but
it feels like that sometimes.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
it does. It's way more fun when they're good, Jake, and then you feel good about the team.
Look,
no, go ahead.
You've heard opponents say, for all the attendance issues and stuff in the Smoothie King Center, you've heard opponents say that when that place is bumping, it's a really tough environment to play. The city will show out for a winner. You just got to put it out there on the court and kind of be worthy of the audience here.
Here's hoping. Jake Madison, Locked On Pelicans. Thanks, man. Always appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for having me on, Matt.
All right, bud. Be well. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit. Thinking of buying land? Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. You've heard David DeLucci talk about his experience buying hunting property through First South Farm Credit. You've heard Ben McDonald, former first pick overall, talk about his experience buying hunting property in Mississippi using First South Farm Credit. Remember, at First South Farm Credit, they can help you buy land in any of the lower 48. So it doesn't matter if it's 20 acres in St. Francisville, 100 acres in Mississippi or Texas, 200 acres in Montana. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Go to FirstSouthLand.com. That's FirstSouthLand.com. Okay, man, already been a good show. We're halfway home. Shea Dixon and Ross Jackson were here last hour. Ross is at the NFL owners meetings down in Florida. We talked some recruiting with Shea. If you missed the Blaine Bradford news on Monday, five-star safety from Baton Rouge, committed to Ohio State. Plenty of time for LSU to work a flip, see if they can get it done. Shea waited on that. You just heard Jake Madison. Will Helmers will be here in about 45 minutes, former Tiger pitcher. I want to talk to him about the bullpen, what's going on right now with LSU. A guy who was played a role in that bullpen for Jay Johnson the last several years. So we'll get to Will Helmers as the Tigers are back on the diamond tonight at the box against Louisiana Tech. So we expect the lineup should be posted before we get out of here, so we'll give you some thoughts on that. I'm certainly assuming that here on in a midweek that we'll see Kate Arambidi behind the dish, give Luis Hernandez a day off, especially with the short turnaround. They'll be traveling tomorrow and then playing on Thursday at Oklahoma. And then very interesting to see what Jay Johnson does on the bump tonight. I can't imagine they're going to throw Jaden Newt like they have the past two midweek starts. This feels like a good opportunity to get William Schmidt back out there and maybe just give him the comfort of starting again, going through a routine, and then you're taking a step back from SEC play, see if you can go get some confidence back. And plus, it allows you to keep Newt fresh for the possibility of needing him here in just 48 hours as you're going to play on Thursday, Friday, Saturday this weekend. So anyway, as we know more, as we get closer to first pitch, we'll tell you. Okay, quick break. When we come back, I got two names for you that the Saints have been pretty vocal about pursuing in this draft process. You'll hear them next on AFR.
AFR.
I've spent more than 2 years now telling you about Glow Resources. Let today be the day that you take action and call Glow Resources or log on to glowresources.com. It doesn't matter where you're watching or listening to this show. I know there's LSU alums and people from the boot that get displaced and dispersed all over the country and the world. I hear it all the time. I can look at the heat map on YouTube or our podcast app and see where you all listen and watch. Maybe you moved to Dallas or Houston or Atlanta. Maybe you're in California. Maybe you're in Germany. But the bottom line is, if you're in a business and you're struggling to find the right people, Glow Resources can help. Their corporate headquarters are right here in Baton Rouge, but they've got offices in Miami and Houston, all over the country, as a matter of fact. So if you need to find the right people for your job, which job? Any job, Glow Resources can help. Check them out online at glowresources.com. Complete employer solutions.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. Whole team on wild.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Atmos Energy, our smart choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
It really turns her on. She's always staring at me while I'm chugging along.
Big shout out to all the farmers out there planting rice, fertilizing the sugarcane fields. Y'all are awesome, man. Know so many of you listen while you're out there on the combine, tractor. We appreciate you for being there, man. Thanks for what you do for our state, for our economy. We don't eat without farmers. You realize that? Yeah. Where are you going to get your food you eat? Nowhere. Grow it yourself?
You're going to starve.
You're going to grow it yourself?
Nah, you're not going to do that.
People ever think about that, actually?
Huh?
What do you do without farmers? You go to a restaurant, you eat a steak, where do you think that comes from?
Farmer.
Cattle farmer. You at your home?
Mm-hmm.
You want to put sugar in your coffee?
Yep.
Where do you think that comes from?
Sugarcane farmer.
Yeah. Thank a farmer, y'all. Thank God for them. I don't want to live that life. You got to be ready. You got to be made for it, Muse.
You do.
I ain't made for that.
Me either.
I am not made for that action. I am really good at consuming the products that they grow and harvest. I'm grateful for them. Shout out Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Okay, we'll talk about Shedeur. Ooh, we are. Why did we get so off time? I don't know. Did that go long about Nuss? What did I do?
I don't know. It didn't seem like you did.
That I went.
I think we were at like 4:13.
Okay.
I thought you were good.
All right, let me get going here. Okay. There are two names that I want to give you. And this isn't a test. You don't have to write this down. I'm just making you aware because it's one thing when you go through the pre-draft process. If someone does that like mock draft predictor machine and then they screenshot the results and post it on Twitter and it's like, hey, this is the mock draft I put together. Awesome. I don't really care. It's another thing when members of the New Orleans Saints organization are meeting with prospects. That is very relevant, and you have my attention. Like, today we learned the New Orleans Saints are going to host Quinn Ewers on a top 30 visit. You only get 30 of those where you can bring a prospect to your facility. The Saints are bringing Quinn Ewers here. They also had dinner with him the night before their pro day last Monday, for his pro day last Monday. They are spending an awful lot of time with Quinn Ewers. That is worthy of our attention. There's 2 players that they're doing this with as well that aren't necessarily your top-tier draft picks, but are names I think you need to know. One of them, let's just be honest, he checks both boxes. Tony Pauline of Sportskeeda notes that at the What?
Sportskeeda is objective.
Sportskeeda.
That's objectively funny.
Sportskeeda. That's a stupid name for a
That's
website.
hilarious.
But he's got the report that at Ohio State's Pro Day, check
I like
one box.
it. Yeah.
Give me a ding. Come on,
Go.
give me a ding. We got one ding.
Go on.
Defensive back Lathan Ransom is someone the Saints were showing an interest in. Pauline wrote, quote, Ransom is a cornerback safety hybrid who isn't a liability playing over the slot receiver, spent time with the New Orleans Saints at his pro day, who have shown an interest in the defensive back. Not only did Lathan Ransom attend The Ohio State University, he also has a very impressive 8.84
relative athletic score.
Give yourself a ding. Ohio State, high relative athletic score. Welcome to New Orleans, Lathan Ransom. By the way, I love this. This was him at his pro day talking about what makes him a great safety.
I think I deserve a spot on the team because I'm going to go in there and be a locker room guy first and foremost, be a guy that you never have to worry about. I'm going to know all the plays, I'm going to be on time, and then you're going to get the hardest hitting safety in the draft.
I love all of that. Listen, if you're trying to build culture with a new head coach and you have a guy saying you're going to get a team guy who's on time, who's going to know all the plays, and you're getting the hardest hitting safety in the draft, check, 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 check. I love all of that. Now, where that might fall in the draft, I don't know. But when you look at when you look at the Saints, I'm thinking Ohio State College on the brain. When you look at the Saints defensive backs, Paulson Adebo's to the Giants. You traded Marshawn Lattimore to Washington. So both of your opening week 1 starting corners last year are gone. You've got Kool-Aid and you've got Alante, who both played outside. Now you moving Alante back to the slot, or you keeping him out on the boundary? If you keep him out on the boundary, you need a slot, and Lathan Ransom could fill that void. Also, you signed Justin Reed. You've got Tyrann Mathieu back, but this is potentially a guy that could play safety if, in fact, this is Tyrann Mathieu's last year in New Orleans. We'll see if that's how it plays out. But a versatile player who can cover the slot, who can kick back and play safety, hard hitter, team guy, all that stuff. Love it, and went to Ohio State and has a high relative athletic score. So check there. So Lathan Ransom from Ohio State, one name to keep in mind. The other is an offensive player from Pitt, and it's their tight end, Gavin Bartholomew. Now, Pitt's tight end coach, Jacob Bronowski, had this to say about Bartholomew as a blocker in the run game. And this is important because, remember, this is a guy who is 6'5", 264. Look, you just extended Juwan Johnson, right? Pass-catching tight end. This is a guy who's 6'5", 264. Here he is as a blocker.
Really good. I think in the fourth quarter, when you turn that tape on against North Carolina, I'm so proud of those two, because they were finishing blocks, whether it was downfield, in the box. It was fun to watch, and even Gavin on the last touchdown run there that Eli had, Gavin rolls his guy into the end zone 2-3 yards and really, really awesome block. So, really proud of those guys, especially to finish that game that way on the road. That's what you want to see. So moving forward, we just got to continue to execute at that high level in the blocking, the run game.
Now, Jerry DiPaola of Trib Total Media reported and was later confirmed by Nick Underhill that Saints tight ends coach Chase Hazellate took Bartholomew to dinner the night before Pitt's pro day on March 26th. So again, this isn't just somebody threw out a mock draft and Bartholomew showed up. The Saints tight ends coach went to Pitt and took him to dinner the night before his pro day. There's interest. You've got Juwan Johnson as a pass catcher. This would qualify as the more physical type tight end who, by the way, in 2023 averaged 18 yards a catch. This year, we saw that number drop to 8.5 per catch and 4 touchdowns, but still a guy that is a threat in the receiving game, but your big physical tight end. You've got Juwan Johnson back. You just extended him. Remember, Foster Moreau, as much as this may suck, Foster Moreau's entering the final year of his contract, and this is a non-guaranteed year. So if the Saints cut Foster Moreau, he doesn't count any. There's no dead cap money on the books. He's got $4 million in salary. Should he be on the roster? But it's one of those things where Foster is a cut candidate. Like, we hate to say it and think of it that way, but it's true. He's a guy that coming into this year wasn't signed by the current staff. They extended Juwan Johnson, not Foster Moreau, and he's going to have to earn his spot. If they go draft a tight end, that could mean that's it for Foster. He's going to have to go to camp and earn his spot. And it is worth noting as well, everywhere that Kellen Moore has been as an OC, or now as a head coach, but really as an OC or quarterbacks coach, they have featured the tight end. They had Schultz in Dallas. He was in L.A. with the Chargers for 1 year. They had Gerald Everett and Donald Partham. You realize this? I don't know if I didn't realize this until I looked it up today. Everett had 51 catches for 411. Partham had 27 for 285. Those guys combined, the two tight ends, for 78 catches and 700 yards. Like, that would have combined to be the second leading receiver on the team behind Keenan Allen that year. The point is, and then Dallas Goedert and Philly, yes, like Kellen Moore wants to use his tight end as an integral part in the offense. So I believe fully these thoughts about maybe it's Tyler Warren at 9, maybe it's Mason Taylor at 40, or maybe it's someone like Gavin Bartholomew
Mason Taylor
as a day 3 pick. By the way, one more from Bronowski. This is the Pitt tight ends coach, about Bartholomew and his leadership ability.
I think he's been great. He's been really positive. He's been doing more. He's been bringing other guys along and wanting to meet extra. He's helping out with young Malachi a lot, which is awesome. I love that in our room. And then just in terms of the offense, like on days if it's a little bit slow at practice, like he's being loud, he's being vocal. And the neat thing is you're hearing a lot more guys on the offense side of the ball too. That's the special thing. So we just got to keep that going.
Love it. So just a couple of names to keep an eye on. We're talking so much about the top of the draft, but here's two guys that the Saints have had interest in. They've met with privately that could be day 2 or 3 picks, with Lathan Ransom from Ohio State, the defensive back, and Gavin Bartholomew, the tight end from Pitt. Just a couple names to keep an eye on as we are just a little over 3 weeks away from the NFL draft. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. Muse will have Tigers and the Pros next.
After further review.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You've been injured in an accident. It's not your fault. You know what to do. Do what injured people in our state have done for more than 3 decades. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. They are the local hometown attorneys with the big firm resources. I mean, think about all that Gordon and his team have done for our local communities. I told you just a few weeks ago I was emceeing the Down Syndrome Awareness Group Buddy Walk. Gordon's a sponsor of that. My son plays Miracle League out at Traction. On the outfield wall, you'll see Gordon's logo on the outfield wall at Miracle League. You just go around town to every charity event. We talk so much about all the NIL, the G team members. Gordon immerses himself in all of the communities that he's a part of. They're the local hometown attorneys with the big firm resources, so naturally they're going to get you the best possible result for your case. They've recovered more than $3 billion in damages for their clients over the years. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
There it is, the extra mile. on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Former Tiger Will Helmers in about 25 minutes from right now. We'll talk Shedeur to the Saints possibly in 10 minutes. Right now, Musso has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, we'll start with Major League Baseball from a day ago. Jake Fraley and the Cincinnati Reds, they walloped the Texas Rangers. Fraley went 1 for 5 in the ballgame. Single, RBI, and a run scored. First hit of the year for Fraley. The average now stands at .083. Long way to go. Josh Smith was on the other side, playing third base this time for the Rangers. He wore the collar 0 for 3, but did reach base on a walk and would come around to score. He is still looking for his first hit of the young season. Dylan Cruz, likewise, still looking for his first hit on the young season. Wore the collar 0 for 4 a day ago against the Toronto Blue Jays. Did not face Gausman. It was not his day to pitch. Struck out twice, too, Cruz. Slow start. Slow start. NBA from a night ago, Tari Eason, 13 points, 22 minutes off the bench. This was the second half of a back-to-back. He did not play in the first half of that, so they kind of switched it up. Was on the floor a night ago. 3 rebounds to round out his night. Got in a little bit of foul trouble with 4. Limited some of the minutes that he could have and normally would have played. Naz Reid, we told you Monday, was ejected from the Timberwolves game against the Pistons on Sunday for fighting. It was him and Dominic DiVincenzo fighting against 3 guys from the Spurs. The fight actually spilled into the first row of fans.
Should have stayed.
It should have stayed. Naz has now been handed a 1-game suspension for that. That will be served Tuesday night against the Nuggets. He and DiVincenzo are both available for Thursday against the Nets. You asked earlier who he was fighting.
Yeah.
Because who in their right mind would fight Naz Reid?
Yeah, he's giant. He's like 6'10".
Right.
He's giant. He looks like the Predator.
Isaiah Stewart, Ron Holland II, and Marcus Sasser.
How big are they?
Were the 3 suspended for the Pistons. That's who he was fighting. Stewart's a forward. So I'm thinking pretty formidable. I'm getting his measurements currently right now.
No
for
worries.
you.
You just had an hour and 53 minutes to get that done.
I mean, we're working on it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Actually, that literally.
He's a forward. I mean, look, he's formidable.
Yeah.
Formidable guy as a forward.
No worries. Our audience can wait. They got nothing to do but just wait for you to Google measurements of a forward.
Not just a forward. Isaiah, what was his last name?
Yeah, exactly. And there's 3 of these to go. We got to get going. Come on.
That's
all
right.
We'll come back to you. All right. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020. While I do this, you look those up. 924-2020. You want to see 2020? Call 924-2020. Hey, weren't we talking about this, or what were we talking about in the hall? I said something about Williamson in
Oh, you had superhuman vision because you can't smell anymore. And I was like,
oh, that's right. That's how we talked about it. That's
strong?
right. That's how we talked about it. That's right. Because Alondra lost her smell. And so Muse was like, have your senses, because I lost my smell in COVID, didn't get it back. And Muse was like, have you compensated with your other senses? I was like, no, but I already have superhuman vision thanks to Dr. Blake Williamson of the Williamson Eye Center. Did LASIK 6 years ago. Might have been 7 years ago. It's been a long time. I think, September will be 7 years for my LASIK. It's been incredible. Should have done it 17 years prior. Listen, if you want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever, the Williamson Eye Center can make it happen. 924-2020. No matter your age or your refractive issue, just go have that consultation with Dr. Blake. Let him explain your options. You'll be thrilled you did. It's the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020. 924-2020 or online at williamsoneye.com. That's williamsoneye.com. Okay, we're glad you're hanging out with us here. SportsCenter's coming up. We'll get you caught up on national headlines when we come back. Ellen Moore talked about all the Saints quarterbacks. Could Shedeur join that list?
After further review.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Maryland has hired Texas A&M's Buzz Williams as its new men's basketball coach. The tush-push debate will go on a little longer. The proposal to ban the play, which has been enormously successful for the Eagles, tabled by NFL owners until a later date. Although there's no injury data to support a ban, some owners have warned their colleagues a serious injury is a matter of time. ESPN NFL analyst and former NFL quarterback Tim Hasselbeck.
They've never been ahead of the injury stuff. The reason kickoff took so long to adjust is they had information, they knew it was more dangerous, and then it was changed. And so they were never going to get out in front of the data on it. That should not happen here with this play. What I'm hearing a lot of people say is it's not a good-looking play. Well, neither is the kneel down. We're not removing that from the game either.
Tim Hasselbeck. The NFL will use a camera system to measure first downs in 2025. NBA suspended Detroit's Isaiah Stewart 2 games, Marcus Sasser, Ron Holland II 1 game each, and Minnesota's Dante DiVincenzo and Naz Reid each 1 game as a result of Sunday night's fight between the teams.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. And now a no-frills ad brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Here it is. You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's it. See? Just a good old-fashioned, straightforward ad. See if you could save at Progressive.com.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's rock!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Will Helmers in about 15 minutes. Tigers back at the box. First pitch about 90 minutes from right now. LSU against Louisiana Tech. Wait for that lineup to be posted. When it is, we'll run through it as well. So the NFL owners meetings happened Tuesday in Florida. Our guy Ross Jackson was there for LouisianaSports.net. Kellen Moore, or Ellen Moore, met with reporters there for about 45 minutes. And they covered a lot of ground. But the thing that I was really interested in, where they kind of zeroed in a little bit, was quarterback. And not just Derek Carr, because I think we all understand now with the restructure of the contract, like Derek Carr is going to be in New Orleans for 2025. All of the scenarios that some are suggesting about a trade, potentially, none of that makes sense. Yes, you could trade Derek Carr post-June 1 and save $50 million this year. That doesn't do you a lick of good. You've already done the damage to your cap for the future years, trying to get under the cap this year to spend in free agency. Like, a post-June 1 trade for Derek Carr does nothing for you whatsoever. So Derek Carr is going to be on your roster in 2025. It's interesting, though, about what's beyond him, in particular because of how aggressively the Saints have been pursuing quarterbacks in this draft class. They were at the Ole Miss Pro Day looking at Jackson Dart. They're going to host Quinn Ewers on the top 30. They had dinner with Quinn Ewers. They've met individually with Kyle McCord of Syracuse. Like, they are very clearly doing a lot of due diligence on quarterbacks. And Kellen Moore, can you play number 5, please? He was talking about planning for the future at quarterback.
I think every team in the NFL is always trying to bring in quarterbacks and develop them under any circumstances. So everyone does homework every year on quarterbacks. It's a very valuable position, and so obviously we feel like we have Derek, who's played a ton of football and we feel great about, and then we have, certainly our organization has invested in quarterbacks the last few years with Spencer, Jake, and then Ben, and so we got a number of guys that we're excited to develop as well.
So Ben, of course, is Ben DiNucci, Spencer Rattler, Jake Haener. That's 3. Derek Carr's 4. And if you go draft a quarterback, that would be 5. The writing would be on the wall for Ben DiNucci at that point. But maybe the more important part of what Ellen Moore said, Ellen Moore said on Tuesday, that's never going to get old. Maybe it might get a little old, but I still love it, was the fact that, remember, last year, the Saints went into the offseason or into training camp with a battle between Rattler and Haener for the number 2 job. Ellen Moore said pretty definitively, they ain't doing that this year.
In almost every circumstance, you want to have it defined going into the season. You got to know who your backup quarterback is and just understand there's a progression there. And, not going to say never ever, but, feel like it's pretty strong. Just because of the reps in season, you have to have it set in a certain way. Really, the third guy in a regular season only gets so many reps. It's hard to have 3 guys.
Okay, that's fascinating. That's your coach telling you that in almost every scenario, you want to have your backup quarterback defined going into the season. So right now, there's 2 guys there. Ben DiNucci's going to be out, but there's 2 guys there he didn't draft. So none of us knows what he thinks about Rattler and Haener. We know what the last staff felt because Rattler beat out Haener, but he didn't draft either of those guys. So what if they go into this draft and they take a quarterback? Well, you better believe at least one of those guys, Rattler, Haener, are gone. It's hard to imagine carrying them all into camp. Is there any trade value whatsoever? Maybe. You're talking about a couple of day 3 picks that haven't played. It's hard to imagine you getting any type of resource, anything really of value at all for those players, either of those players. So that's part of this to see what the Saints do in the draft. The most fascinating part of this, though, I think, is going to be at the top of the draft. Now, I've given you my opinion on it plenty. I would love Quinn Ewers, a late day 2, early day 3 pick. If you want to use a day 3 pick on Kyle McCord, fine. I've given you the nickel slot analogy a ton. Drafting quarterbacks late is like the nickel slots. Low risk, potential high reward. You keep feeding the nickel slot till you hit a jackpot. Keep taking one every year until you hit. And you know the list of guys. I had someone message me earlier today say, you're not finding a Tom Brady in round 6. No kidding. You're not finding the greatest quarterback of all time. I'm not looking for Tom Brady jackleg. I'm looking for a guy that can be a starter in this league. In our league. That's what I'm looking for.
In our league.
That's what I'm looking for. You ain't got that. Could you find Dak in round 4? Could you find Kirk Cousins in round 5? Could you find Brock Purdy in round 7? Could you find Tony Romo, undrafted free agent? I'm not telling you you're going to find Tom freaking Brady. Can I find someone that can be a viable starter and help you win and get your cap back in order? That's what I'm looking for in the mid to late rounds of quarterback. So you want to take a flyer on these guys every year? Fine. It's a whole bunch of dudes you take in the draft every year that are never making the team. So, yeah, I'm going to be good with that for perpetually until they find a franchise quarterback that's going to be here for a decade. The other part of the conversation, though, is the top of the draft. And the name that keeps kind of popping up more and more is Shedeur Sanders. Because if you follow the draft buzz, all the buzz is that he's slipping on draft boards. Who knows what to believe? This is the time in the draft where everybody talks crap and agents plant stories and you never know what to believe. And there's always this guy 10 years ago made a Twitter post that somebody found offensive. Who knows? All right. Anyway, so you're hearing that stuff about Shedeur now if he'll draft. I don't know. But here's what I'll say definitively is that at 9, if Shedeur falls to 9, I'm totally okay drafting him at 9. I'd be over the moon drafting Shedeur Sanders at 9. Trading up to take Shedeur, I would not be okay with that. Because I look at what, you look at precedent, right? For example, the Niners. The Niners, when they took Trey Lance third, went up 9 spots. They went from 12 to 3. The Saints are at 9, so they'd have to go up 6 spots from 9 to 3. But they gave up, the Niners did 3 1s and a 3. They did a pick swap, their next 2 years first-round picks and a 3. For the Saints, who are as bad a roster as they are, you don't have, you need all of your draft capital to get younger and more affordable. You can't go giving up that many picks for the shot at a quarterback. Like if you were doing that for a proven, established young veteran, like if you were doing that for Joe Burrow, in a millisecond you do it because you know what you got. the draft is still a risk to a degree. Look at Trey Lance. Look at Bryce Young. I mean, the Panthers a couple of years ago did that. They went from 9 to 1 for Bryce Young. So if they could go back and undo it, you think they would? Better believe it. They'd probably keep Baker Mayfield around. Guys who won the division the past couple of years. Anyway. But it's interesting, too, about Shedeur because, like, with all of this conversation now, this Chase Daniel clip from about 2 months ago has resurfaced. So Chase Daniel, the former Saints quarterback, does a podcast called The Facility. And this was January 31st. So remember, this is before the Super Bowl, all right? So this is 2 months ago. Chase Daniel, I guess that's 2 months. Yeah, sorry, 3 months ago. Yeah, end of January?
It was January 31st.
Then to March.
February,
okay,
March.
Yeah. So 2 months ago, math, bro. You want to diagram a sentence, I'm your guy. You want to do long division? I ain't your guy. Anyway, Chase Daniel, 2 months ago, this was 2 months ago, said this about Shedeur and the Saints.
These are the top 10 picks, but who needs a quarterback? Titans, Browns, Giants, Raiders, Jets, Saints. If you really look at all those franchises, bro, all of them are not great right now. If you go to the Saints and you sit behind Carr for a year and you run, if Kellen Moore is the head coach, I think that's the best situation for Shedeur. Like to not rush him on the, not that he's saying he can't have success, right? But I don't know if any of those top 6, 7 picks are great situations for Shedeur. Because when you get drafted, I agree with wholeheartedly what Shea said. All it takes is one GM to like you and one team to fall in love with you. All 31 others in the first round could hate you. But if they really feel a certain way about you, they will draft you, regardless of what Dion says. I'm just saying, if you look at the top 10 picks, it's just the Saints, for me, make a ton of sense.
So I'm with it. For a lot of people will push back on that. I love Shedeur. I've loved him for 2 years at Colorado. For a lot of reasons I've ticked off. He got crushed behind a terrible offensive line, never complained. Super athletic, really good passer. Was hard to even believe, but in the shadows of Travis Hunter, and still was awesome. He's Prime's kid. He's made a ton of money. He continues to go to school and work real hard. Like, money hasn't changed him or his work ethic or any of those things. Excelled at that level. Like, got the pedigree with being Dion's kid. Like, I'd love all of that. You could say, well, you have the looming father like a LeVar Ball situation. I don't see it like that at all. I mean, Dion has held his players accountable, including his children. Like, I think it checks a ton of boxes. If Shedeur's there at 9, they take him. I'm over the moon. What I'm not okay with is giving up 3 ones to move up in this draft to take a quarterback. Like, that I'm not good with. There's literally 2 scenarios in this draft where I will be pissed. Trading up from 9 or taking Ashton Genty at 9. Those are and it's not that Genty's a bad player. It's just the Saints have so many needs, and there's no position that depreciates faster than running back. Like, that's not helping you win. So that's the only 2 scenarios. Literally anything else they do at 9, I'm going to be okay with. But if you move up from 9 or draft after Ashton Genty, I'm going to be pissed. Everything else I'd be good with. But the most fascinating thing to see is Kellen Moore sitting here telling you are always evaluating quarterbacks and always looking to get better, and they are actively pursuing quarterbacks in this draft. And if that's the case, and they want their backup solidified by the time they start training camp, what does that mean for Rattler and Haener? Because if you go draft a quarterback, you better believe they're hitching their wagon to their guy behind Derek Carr. And then you make that decision in 2026 after this season. But the Rattler-Haener experiment could be over if, in fact, that's the way that they want to go in this draft by taking a quarterback anywhere in the draft. Something to watch. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters as well. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. But listen, windows are a commodity. You can buy windows anywhere. Relief Windows differentiates themselves by their level of service. And that's not just a tagline. Call Relief Windows. You'll understand it when you talk on the phone. Walk into their showroom on Airline Highway in Prairieville, the way you're greeted, the beauty of that facility. The same people that renovated LSU football ops are the one that designed Relief Windows showroom. You don't think that thing is popping? Their measure techs, their install crews, the service after the sale. Exceptional. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. All right, LSU baseball back on the diamond tonight against Louisiana Tech. Former Tiger pitcher former Tiger third baseman Will Helmers will join us next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Y'all stop feeling sick and tired all the time. No way to go through life. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness can help. It's 2025, y'all. It is 2025. It is time for us to regain our youthful feeling, to regain that vitality, to have our feet hit the floor in the morning and be ready to roll, to be motivated to get into the gym, to get results when you're in the gym, to burn fat, to build muscle, to feel great, to feel energetic, to have a great libido, to live a strong, healthy, happy, fulfilled life. Ain't no sense in sludging around through life, y'all. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Every one of us as we age, our body produces less of the hormones that contribute to how we feel. You can safely and affordably supplement to get to healthy levels to feel younger again. Learn more. YourGoodwood.com, YourGoodwood.com. Lowest prices, never any contracts, YourGoodwood.com.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, Ice Cubes.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Over by the gate, Lordy, here she comes with a basket full of chicken and a big cold jug of sweet tea. I make a little room and she climbs on up.
Jay Johnson had his radio show on Monday night, gave us a little thumbnail preview of the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. Here it was.
tough-minded. Lane's a really good coach. They've been very consistent as a program. A really good pitching coach is Cooper Fouts. Old team, as I've kind of looked at a lot of guys that have played college baseball, a little more transfer-oriented than they've been in the past. So, again, a little older. They won 2 out of 3 this weekend against Kennesaw State, who's a really good program who we played in the regionals a few years ago. So, expecting a good game. They got a good record and has a chance to be a quality game.
Tonight, 6:30, LSU and Louisiana Tech. See what might manifest here on the pitching staff. Good time to call on our buddy Will Helmers, former Tiger. Good enough to join us here for a couple of minutes. How are you, man?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Doing great. We always appreciate you. So much of the conversation about this team, certainly from the fans' perspective, has been the bullpen, some of the struggles. I'll just leave it open-ended. When you characterize this bullpen so far through the first couple of months of the season, what do you see?
When you look at it, they have a great record. They're pitching great for the most part, but the bullpen, you get 2 standout guys, and Cowan and Evans, both have 20-plus innings pitched and a sub-1 ERA in the SEC. And that's, unbelievable in itself, but that's not going to win in the long run, I don't think. You got 2 really good guys out of the bullpen, but we need some more strikes. And the question, like, who can give that to you? You got a lot of guys. You got all kinds of talent throughout the roster, and suffocating the zone is a huge deal, and especially in college baseball. First pitch strikes, pounding that zone, first 2 out of 3 pitches for strikes, and you're not seeing that as much from the rest of the bullpen besides those 2 guys. So I think that needs to sharpen up, definitely, and they'll get there. And part of this is most of these guys have never pitched in the SEC, and they're still learning and gaining experience, each time they have an outing. And so they'll learn and get better as they go.
I was going to ask why they're not pounding the zone, as you said. You kind of elaborated or alluded to it there, Will, that, it's their first time going through the SEC. Can you elaborate a little? Like, why does that make it may sound obvious, but like, why does it make it difficult to go out there and just throw the ball over the plate?
Man, I struggle with that a lot. But it's difficult. Throwing strikes is difficult, and when you get in that SEC lineup, these are the best hitters in the country. And most of these guys who are pitching haven't seen that ever before in their lives. The guys in the box are taking really, really aggressive at bats and coming after you. They want to take your head off. And another piece of it, I think, is you look at who you want to model your bullpen after, and it's Zach Cowan and Casey Evans. And these are 2 guys that, they pitch with guts. They pitch with their nuts out a little bit. They have good change-ups, and they pound the zone. And that's the key. And sometimes it's hard to pound the zone, and you don't have your best stuff every day, but they go out there with confidence. I think confidence is a huge piece in pounding the zone, absolutely.
Well, what do you think about, or can you give us maybe a little bit of insight into like how Nate Yeskie works with his guys during the week, maybe to improve accuracy?
Yeah, I mean, it's, there's part of that he can do, and there's also another part of it that's on the player. He can, as a coach, Coach Yeskie can only do so much. The player has to take some ownership of where he's going with his career, and so a lot of it's like, throwing midweek bullpens and working on stuff and pounding the zone, which is, it's a hard topic to, address because it just seems like, man, why can't you just throw the white ball over the white plate?
Right.
I mean, I couldn't do it half the time anyway, so I don't know, and so it's difficult, and it goes player by player, and you'll see it as the season goes on. Guys have swings. It's just like a slump in as a hitter. This guy, he's always coming out right now and pounding the zone, but, maybe later in the season he has a 4-game set where, he can't find the strike zone. And it's similar. It's a mental thing. It's all the above.
Yeah. I guess, Will, I think of it this way. If a guy's struggling to shoot free throws in basketball, I have a solution. Like, go stand at the line and shoot 1,000 free throws a day. You know what I mean? Like,
hey,
if a guy's struggling to tackle in football, there are tackling drills that you could do. What do you do in baseball? Like, do you just, because you can't go throw 1,000 pitches a day. You know what I mean? Like, what literally, like, what do you do?
That's where it gets tough. Like, seriously, that is one of the huge, I don't want to say issue, but it's a problem. Like, I can't go out and throw 100 pitches on Wednesday.
Right.
And then if I get called, late in the game on a Thursday game against Oklahoma, like I'm screwed. And so, you got to be smart with it. You got to, watch your mechanics. You got to, get your mental game right. It's a collection of things. And then also, like, a thing that helped me is, like, I got to get in the zone. I'm going to throw into this catch net, and then if it doesn't work out, then, we got to do something to negate that. And so it's a collection of things, but there's no real right answer. It's a tough subject.
Will Helmers is our guest, former Tiger pitcher, Tigers and Louisiana Tech tonight. You said at the beginning they got two. I think most agree with you, right? I mean, there's two guys that have really stood out in the bullpen with Cowan and Evans. How many do you think, Will, that you need to make it through the postseason?
Another tough question. But, like I had alluded to, that the ultimate goals, we're going to win a championship, as a team. And realistically, 5 guys right now, really, 4 who are really pounding the zone, with, pretty much all the time isn't going to get you there. And so I think you really need 8 guys is just the kind of stand-up answer that you can really trust to go in there and throw strikes and get the first guy out. Out of the bullpen, you hear Jay say it all the time. That's what they hone in on is, when you come in the game, your job is to get the first guy you face out. And so when you get guys that walk guys or, hit by pitch or wild pitches, and that's where things really start to go downhill fast. And then, as a coach, it's hard to trust those guys to put them in a situation.
So if you need 8, your opinion, like, who do you think are the next candidates to be guys that you think could be relied on? Like, who's impressed you?
I had thought about this earlier, and it's like, who can really give that, stuff that Kaysen and Zach Cowan are giving you? It's a tough answer. Of course, it's a tough question, but I think you get Maverick Rizzi. Obviously, William Schmidt. He's got great stuff. I'd really, really like to see him pitch a little bit tonight. Maybe start the game, just get his confidence back up because he has all this, all the tools to be a major league pitcher. Same with Maverick Rizzi. Connor Ware, a lefty. You need a lefty who's going to come in, pound the zone. And then I was actually really impressed with Jaden Newt. This past weekend came in, gave you 2 scoreless at the end after a long day. Had some, really, did a really great job of pounding the zone. And then Connor Bench is another guy who's got good stuff. He's got some confidence. I can see it. And he's got the ability to pound the zone. They all do. Yeah. And it always turns out into a matter of who's going to pound the zone at the right time and who's going to be your guys.
I'm glad you brought up Newt because that was going to be the next one I wanted to ask you about. How do you start to transition a guy like that from midweek starter like he's done the past couple of weeks to now being weekend contributor?
Yeah, it's really the way you do it is, you go from the midweek, you keep, maybe building your pitches up. And that, like when I was a freshman, that's a little bit of what I did. You kind of build your pitches up for a while, and then you may see it tonight where he starts the game, goes 40 pitches, and then all of a sudden he's ready again for Friday and Saturday, which is, that's the best way I think to do it, to get accustomed to getting in that SEC, weekend rotation out of the bullpen for him. And, that's what most of the time, that's what we did is trying to transition guys like Kate Anderson did that last year a little bit and on down the line.
So you think throw Jaden Newt tonight?
I think so.
Okay.
Let me think. He threw 2 innings Sunday.
It was Saturday. Remember, it was Saturday night. So if you do the math,
right.
So he threw a couple innings Saturday night. So he had Sunday, Monday off. He'd then throw today. They travel tomorrow. Then they play Thursday, Friday, Saturday again. So it's like
Right.
how soon, if he threw, let's say what you just said, 30, 40 pitches tonight, having thrown Saturday, when do you think he'd be ready again?
Considering all is going well with his, elbow and,
Sure.
and everything, say everything's fine. I think he's ready again Friday. That's a good load on a pitcher. That's 3 times in a week, and he's ready for it. He's poised. He's got some real talent. He actually stays pretty calm on the mound, and all the stuff that you look for in a good bullpen arm. He's got great pitches, elite stuff, and he can do it.
Last thing for you, Will Helmers is our guest. I wanted to go back and ask you one follow-up about Schmidt. You said maybe give him a start. I'm interested, Will, because this is a guy's whole life he's been a starter, and now this season he's had to have a bullpen role, which he's never done. How difficult is that for a guy that's always maybe had that pregame routine and been a starter to now have to transition and wake up and go to the yard and not know if he's going to throw that day?
Yeah, it's tough, and a thing about that is every freshman who comes into LSU is in that exact same position.
Yeah.
And there was no such thing as somebody who's come to LSU who's a bullpen arm out of high school. That just really doesn't happen. And so it's a tough adjustment, without a doubt. And so, I think, Jay's tried to work with him a little bit, gave him a couple starts, and really it's all about his preparation. The preparation is going to stay the same, whether you're starting the game or coming out of the pen. It's just a matter of when you do that preparation. And so he's got to get good with his routine and with his mental game and all that different stuff if he's going to come out of the pen.
Will Helmers, former Tiger pitcher, good enough to join us here for a couple of minutes. Tigers, Louisiana Tech tonight, then a quick turnaround. Play a 3-game series in Norman, Oklahoma against the Sooners Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Hey, man, I always appreciate the time and the conversation, man. We'll do it again soon, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. Will Helmers. It's After Further Review. And we're brought to you by Supper Club. I'll actually be at Supper Club tomorrow night. Got a client dinner. Really looking forward to that. It's a great spot to go. I know I tell you all the time, but, man, if you want to go entertain a client, it's in town, or close some business, maybe you're knocking off of work, want to grab some coworkers, head over to Supper Club. They're open Tuesday to Saturday. And remember, there's always open seating at the bar. Now, I'd always recommend you get a reservation and make sure you get your table. But open seating at the bar Tuesday through Saturday. So you can always go have a seat at the bar, have dinner at the bar. You want to get a bar table, you could do that. But plan ahead. Get yourself a reservation. They've got the private dining room available upon request. If you need, if you have an event, you want to maybe have a dozen people in private dining, you do that at Supper Club. Remember, graduation parties are coming up. So we're getting closer. I know it's the beginning of April, and we're inching closer now. You're about 6 weeks away, but I've been telling you this for a few weeks. Call Supper Club now. If you're going to have that graduation party, don't call 2 weeks before and, let's see if we can get it. They're going to be booked. So, Lathan was telling me over there or Chef Layton was telling me a couple of weeks ago that they've already had people booking for 3-4 weeks for graduation parties. So call over there to Supper Club, get that reservation today for that graduation party. Don't wait because it's going to book. And look, maybe you're just celebrating a graduation, anniversary, a special occasion. Look, Chef Layton over there does an awesome job. The menu's incredible. Eric and I went a couple of weeks ago when they were open on Sunday for that for the great fundraiser for the Tastemakers for benefiting the American Cancer Society and the Fork Cancer BR. Had the veal parm that I tell you about all the time. No matter if you want fish or veal or one of their incredible steaks, you're going to have an unforgettable dining experience over at Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com for your reservations. SupperClubBTR.com. All right, it's After Further Review. We appreciate you for hanging out with us here. As the Otter Locks is coming up in 15 minutes. Jimmy's picks are already live up at LouisianaSports.net. If you want them, they're free. They're there every single day. Everything always free over at LouisianaSports.net. No paywalls, no pop-up ads, nothing like that. Everything just always free over at LouisianaSports.net. So check it out, LouisianaSports.net. Otter Locks are there. We'll get to Jimmy here in about 15 minutes from right now. We're not going to break. Come back. Waiting for the lineup to be posted with LSU and Louisiana Tech as we get closer to first pitch. Stay with us here on AFR.
AFR.
Man, I love telling you about Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints, because at Rouse's, no matter what you want, they got it. You want boiled crawfish? Rouse's. You want boiled shrimp? Rouse's. You want to boil your own crawfish? They got live crawfish at Rouse's. You need to go make your groceries? Rouse's. Hey, download the Rouse's app. Remember, you can always use your personal shopper. They have curbside pickup. So you punch up the app, pick out your items. Your personal shopper will go pick them out for you. You pull up in one of the designated spaces. They bring it out to your car. You don't have to get out the car. You want to talk about saving time? You talk about convenience? It's Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints with 70-some-odd locations from Lake Charles to Orange Beach, Alabama, and points in between. I mean, you know where Rouse's is. You can find the Rouse's location nearest you. You can always get by and see our friends at Rouse's. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Remember, we're coming up on another Friday in Lent. If you need those seafood options, Rouse's got tons of them at any of your Rouse's locations. It's Rouse's. This feels like home.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She's always staring at me while I'm chugging along.
By the way, at Parrish Construction and Roofing, we did announce on Friday, if you weren't here, our $10,000 cash giveaway. A few weeks back, we gave away $5,000. Figured, hey, let's do it again. Except this time we'll do $10,000. If you go to the website, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com, you'll see it pop up right there on the homepage. It's real simple. All you got to do is register for a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. There's no purchase necessary. There's no catch. Anybody that signs up for a free roof inspection, you're entered into the drawing to win $10,000 cash. All the deets are at the website, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. And Monday, I was woken up Monday amid my excruciating back pain that kept me out here to hail hammering our home. And my mother-in-law, who watches Drew, picks him up from school, brings him up. She said at her home during the day, there were 5 roofing companies that came and knocked on our door, asking if they could inspect our roof. Y'all, I'm going to tell you, thank God. I don't love our homeowners association. I think they're mostly annoying. They sent a letter out today warning against door knockers, which I'm glad, because we're in a no solicitation neighborhood. And also, who wants people knocking on their door all day? Like, it's savages, and it's always it's the least reputable roofing companies that are going to come knock on your door. We don't want people knocking on our door, so we're never going to do it. We're not door knockers. We'll never do that. And I always encourage you to ignore door knockers. You got an issue with your roof, you think you might, you want us to help, we'd love the opportunity to earn your business. Give us a shout at parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know, Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com. You can learn more about our $10,000 cash giveaway. Terrio keeps building that thing up more and more. Like he keeps saying he wants to give away like $100,000. And I'm like, hey, bro, can we just slow down? I mean, think about that. He's like, can you imagine if we give away 100? I'm like,
100 G's, man.
Like, how about you give away $100,000?
Yeah.
I mean, you know how many roofs we got to sell to give away $100,000?
No, I don't.
A lot.
I'm guessing it's a lot, yeah.
Lots.
Multiple.
More than multiple. Anyway, so help us give away. Buy a roof from Parish. Help us give away $100,000. Anyway, $10,000 cash giveaway. Learn more. Parishbuilt.com. All right. Lineup is posted. LSU and Louisiana Tech tonight. And kind of as expected here. And I'm excited for these changes. Aaron Beatty's going to catch. No shock there. And Braswell's going to play third. Brown's in right, Fry DHing. So those are the things we're looking forward to. Well, that's interesting. I guess just giving Pearson a night off. Have you seen Tech's?
So I'm looking for that right now to see if they have a lefty on the mound. But I will note, Fry started game 3 against the righty. And they've let him face righties a little bit more lately. But I don't see their lineup.
It's more Braswell being in the lineup, not Fry.
Yeah. So instead of Reeves, you mean?
Yeah.
They have not posted a lineup.
Okay.
So I don't see it yet.
It was basically, if you haven't been following, the way that Jay is platooned at third and in left field DH is generally when LSU's facing a lefty, Braswell will be at third, Fry will DH to get the extra righties in the lineup. And we've seen Pearson in right when that's happened, and Brown goes to the bench. When they face a righty, Tanner Reeves, who's left-handed, plays third, and then we generally see Brown in right and Pearson DH. So just something to file away to see as this goes along. That's kind of how they've made it work. So anyway, here's how they'll bat. No change at the top. It's Curiel, Jones, Dickinson, Fry, Milam, Brown, then Aaron Beatty, Braswell, Stanfield. So no changes there. I love getting Aaron Beatty this playing time as well. We all know Cade Aaron Beatty has the super high ceiling. The last 2 midweeks, he's 4 of 8 with a double and a couple of homers and 5 RBI. So the bat is coming along in these midweeks for Cade Aaron Beatty, which is great. And it gets him an opportunity not only to see live pitching, but then also to go catch a game. And it gives Luis Hernandez a chance not to get the crap beaten out of him. He's gotten beaten up a lot behind the plate so far this year. So anyway, I love that part of the midweek. I mean, Hernandez, we've talked about, he's got 400 career at-bats. He's played a ton of games. He doesn't need this Tuesday. This is a great opportunity for Aaron Beatty to get experience. And then the other notable notation. Little redundant.
Potent potables.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I was going to make another joke, but if you do it, you're liable to step in it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
I'll take swords for 500. That's a safe one.
That's a safe one.
That's a safe one. It's S words, Mr. Connery. So William Schmidt's going to start. And the only bad part of that is Jay's got to swallow the pride a little bit after saying a couple of weeks ago that Schmidt's probably never going to pitch on a Tuesday again as long as he's here. And then 2 weeks later, he's back on a Tuesday. But this is the right thing to do. And I love this. We've kind of talked about it a bit. And with Newt's sort of emergence, Newt, you're looking for strike throwers on the weekend. Newt just did it against State. He got you the final 2 outs in that wee hours of the Sunday morning game against, or wee hour Sunday morning, Saturday night, Sunday morning. And And so this is an opportunity to let Schmidt go into a role where he's familiar. If you've struggled coming out of the pen, this is an opportunity to go to the park, knowing you're going to throw, go through your pregame routine, know how long you're expected to go in this ball game, get a little more comfort. It's not going to be the weight of coming out of the bullpen in a leverage situation of an SEC weekend. It's starting on a Tuesday against Tech. So go out there and throw the way you're capable of and get a little confidence because they need him. And we talked about it with Will Helmers a bit ago. And I agree with the list he said. You know, after the guys you got right now, the first three in the rotation with Anderson, Einson, and Shores, then you know you've got the next two guys in Cowan and Evans. But, you know, Will Helmer said, Jay generally thinks you need 8. Okay, well, then who are the next guy? Well, Rizzi, Schmidt, Ware, Newt, Benj. I mean, that group is the next group that you count on, and you're hoping of those 5, maybe 3 of those can emerge into impact guys. And you'd love it to be Ware because he's a lefty. Schmidt has great stuff if he can command it. And then really you're just looking at, can Newt, Benj, Rizzi, any of those guys give you something consistently? Maybe Newt's emerging there, but it's the value of these games. I mean, I know we joke about the midweek all the time, and you know my feeling on it. It doesn't matter from an RPI perspective or an NCAA tournament perspective. It just doesn't. Like, you win 20 league games, you could lose every midweek game. It's not going to matter. You're going to be a national seed. What matters is things like this. You get Cade Arambidi an opportunity to get out there and catch. You get William Schmidt on the bump and try to get him some confidence, get him going a little bit. So see how the Tigers handle it. 6:30 first pitch tonight, so we're about 45 minutes away. If you're in Baton Rouge, you'll hear it on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. Already past the halfway point of the regular season. Crazy, man. Crazy already. But Tigers and Bulldogs tonight here at 6:30. Okay, it's after further review. We'll knock out our final break of the show. We'll come back. We'll do Otter Lock. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Man, I love telling you about Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Don Moore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Tell you every day, buy local, shop local. Go see our friends at Clegg's Nursery. Y'all, spring is here. We had some rain, of course, this past weekend and into Monday. That's past now. They always say April showers, May flowers. We had a lot of March showers there at the end of the month. But things are greening up. Maybe the issue you're having right now is weeds popping up in your lawn. There is a preventative maintenance product where you could spray that weed and feed now to get down to the root to prevent the weeds from popping up in your grass as your lawn starts to come back to life. Maybe you have ant hills, any other unwanted pests. Tell you about the Aeon Mosquito Barrier. Make sure you go check that out. Tell you every year, spring, summertime. You want to take care of mosquitoes 90 days at a time. That's the way to do it. The Aeon Mosquito Barrier was $20, $25, something like that. Granules, put water in it, shake it up, hang it on your property line. You're done with mosquitoes. They got them at Clegg's Nursery.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Atmos Energy, our smart choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR, powered by Sunshine. Sunequip.com. Bunky and below, you want a Deere? You're going to Sunshine. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. It's time for Otterlocks.
Otterlocks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance. Now's the time to get that AC unit checked before it really gets hot. Normally $179. Just $79 when you mention Otterlocks. Total Maintenance. 480-1000.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, how are you?
Good, Matt. How about you?
Doing well, man. Glad to hear you. I don't know what we had yesterday, but I would assume it was awesome.
We went 2 out of 3. There we
go. Let's give him a ding.
Early pick that we put out on the website did not win, but the Padres won easily last night. And, we'll whine when we have a bad beat, but we love a whistle with 0.7 seconds to go when it's on the number. So
Let's
we get
go.
some free throws at the Crown. Matt, it's been an interesting situation. With the Crown, a lot of places have taken it off. They were kind of asked to do it. So different states, different books, and things like that. I'm pretty sure in Louisiana right now, the only one that is posting those lines is Bet Rivers.
Okay.
Right now. So that was as of yesterday. I talked to Johnny Avello, top guy at DraftKings earlier today via text, and he said they're trying to get them up. They just got some jurisdictions to hop through. So It's weird because they've done these CBIs and NITs before. What makes this, because it's a pay-for-play tournament, there is money. I don't know. All the local books in Las Vegas have it. So it's just about mobile. So it's been a little bit of a jump. We got one in the Crown. Villanova at it went from 3.5 to 4.5, but we'll lay the 4 by the hook. So Villanova in the Crown there. We're going to NIT. Did not put these up on the website, so these are add-ons. But the NIT, first of all, UC Irvine and North Texas. North Texas has won this thing. Their coach at Texas Tech won it a couple of years ago when he was at Denton with North Texas. We're going with the big guy, UC Irvine. They've won a lot this year. +1 minus 105 available at DraftKings right now. So that's the first game that's tipping off in just a couple of minutes. The other one is Loyola Chicago and Chattanooga. Chattanooga has been underdog every game in the NIT that they played. They won every game. Well, guess what? They're underdog again. A little fight in the mock. We're going to take Chattanooga plus the 2.5, 5 to 3, if you can, against Loyola Chicago in the nightcap. And the baseball parlay, moneyline parlay, we did put out on the website. We're going to ride these two teams, and we're going to fade some bad teams. Braves can't hit. Their top hitter is hitting 176 right now. We're going with the Los Angeles Dodgers, even with Chris Sale. Good thing about facing Sale is, can he repeat his form from last year? But he might only go 5 innings as well. And we're hooking it up with the undefeated Padres. That Petco is popping these days. And we have Michael King and a pitching advantage as well over the Guardians, who we expected a little bit reversion back to the mean after they won so many one-run games last year. The Padres and Dodgers money line parlay. Let me see what that pays real quick. That
1 minute remaining.
Right now at
I got it. Hang on. Load. Come on, load. I don't know. I just played it, but now of course I'm just getting the spinning wheel.
Plus 178. Is that right?
I'm looking at. I'll tell you right now.
Dodgers minus 30.
Plus 178. Yep. So plus $1.78 right now.
Dodgers were minus $1.85 at 9 o'clock this morning.
Well.
Wow.
Our benefit. Let's go.
I mean, is it Chris Sale's got the torpedo arm tonight? I mean, what am I missing? Come on, man. What am I missing?
Where are you tomorrow?
Modesto.
Moscona. Not exactly the same vowels, but the same vowels, but not the same. All right, Modesto, live at lunch, hot and handy tomorrow. Y'all check them out. Thank you, Outer. Good luck.
Good luck.
All right, man. We're getting out of here. Muse, Paulie, thanks. Y'all have an awesome night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, I'll remind you about our friends at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. 9 locations in all. Of course, a couple of locations in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, online, lmfj.com. Spring is sprung. It's the season of love. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I'm saying right now because I want to. It's a time when blooms are everywhere. Those engagement pictures are gorgeous. If you're thinking of popping the question, gents, go to Lee Michaels. If you think, I don't know if I have the budget for that, go to Lee Michaels. Lee Michaels blends perfectly the selection that you can get from the big box store because they buy in bulk, but also the personalized service you get at the boutiques. But because they buy in bulk, they're going to give you better prices than you can with the boutiques. It's the perfect blend of both worlds. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
You work hard every day to pursue a life you love. You put in the time, and it shows. You're forging ahead, chasing a dream, creating something better for the ones you love. You're building your own life. So why not build your own tractor? With John Deere tractors and attachments for almost any need, the Sunshine team can help you do just that. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like Vans customized